All right, Town Council Work Session, April 9th, 2026, Cape Charles Civic Center. Roll call, please.
Newman present.
Holloway present.
Buckles present.
Buda present.
Grossman present.
Ashworth present.
Let it be known we've established a quorum, and items for discussion this evening. First off will be the zoning ordinance, Article 8, Historic District Guidelines.
I'm going to do a little overview, and then I'm going to turn it to Tracy, who's really been leading this for our department. It is the Katie Nunez Planning Department, Building Department, and Harbor hour for you guys of potential zoning changes that we are bringing for your consideration. So first up is our zoning ordinance, Article 8, Historic District Guidelines. We've been at this for a while, as you can see from our history, but for the public to know, this comes out of an appeal that was filed with the town more than a year ago, almost 2 years ago at this point, in which the appeal was upheld and the zoning decision that I issued on that was overturned in that process. And our attorney felt that we should have some cleaner language in our documents about what is required for zoning approval. And with that, we did an outset from it, going maybe we can also develop a complementary document to assist our property owners to understand what levels of review are required for various types of work that they would do on the exterior of their property. So that was the genesis of this entire process. It has taken us some time. I just want to put a general caveat to this. Any development that occurs on a piece of property, whether it's in the historic district or not, does require zoning review and may also require building permit review, and specifically a building permit being generated and needed and issued from his department. So we're not trying to usurp the authority that I have naturally in the zoning ordinance or that the building official has under his responsibilities. This is really meant to give some clarity within the historic district and how that relates to the certificate of appropriateness process in our ordinance. And the certificate of appropriateness is a zoning permit in my vernacular. It just gets a fancy name called certificate of appropriateness, which designates it in the historic district. And that's a term used all over the U.S. for historic districts. So I just wanted to make sure everybody has at least the right terminology as we head into this. And with that said, I'm going to turn Tracy right into the proposed changes that we are seeking into the ordinance, and then kind of walk through the new Appendix G that we have developed for you.
Katie, before you get there, I just want to note on your history, since we're carrying a history here, on number 9, you indicate 2 work sessions, February 21st, I believe, should be February 17th.
Oh, okay. We will fix that, thank you.
So would you like me to go down the list and tell you about the changes? You all read it?
We've all read it.
Already.
So, so I'm on page 6, 32, section 32.213. The historic overlay, the historic district overlay, that was just something that was accidentally left out of the last amendments we did, so we just need to add that back in, which explains the boundaries of the historic district overlay. That was already in our zoning ordinance. And our biggest changes are, of course, start on section 32.226. We labeled it description of proposed work. We laid out the categories. We have a routine maintenance, a minor work, any major work. Read the section. Did you want me to go into more detail about that?
No.
I love the check marks.
I did that for you. Okay, and then we added for section 32.227, you needed something that says if it's dangerous, that we can have it taken care of. So, because we did have something come up and someone said, well, how did you know? Well, that's for the zoning administrator and code official to determine. And then we added a phrase on 32.230 that is just saying the intent of the guidelines. Just to make the guidelines a little clearer. And I Historic District Board. What we did is we had a suggestion that it was very crammed together, so we just listed out with how to file appeals and what materials would be needed.
That's good.
Can I back up to the 236 found on page 17 of our listing there, and talk site plans? If you go back, and this is why I knew February 17th, we took out site plans.
They, in our last work session, they added it back in because people were saying that if they didn't see it in here, that it could be required because
Right.
historic does not require.
That's correct, but we had the phrase site plans in accordance with Appendix C or whatever the site plan, because it is not required for historic ordinance. Reference to where it is required. Right now, this says all applications will need a site plan, which is not the case.
It doesn't say that, it says may require submission of any.
Okay, and I'd say site plans in accordance with our zoning
Sure.
requirements.
Okay.
Are we okay with 32.243? Like I said, it's the same wording, we just listed it out.
Yep.
And that is it for the ordinance changes. So now we can, oh, nope, sorry, we did add some definitions. So for the town, in our town code, chapter 32, appendix A definitions, we will be adding alteration, in kind, public right of way. In repairs, we did take out the word equivalent and add in kind. Then we have a repair major, repair minor, screen, and screen. And then we added in our historic district overlay design guidelines, appendix A glossary, alteration. So moving on to the big one, this is a new appendix G, labeled it appendix C, classification of work general guidelines. Now, Paul, I know you haven't seen this, what we decided to do after getting some input from a couple contractors and from another board, a board member, once they went through it all for us and reviewed it, we decided to take the town code, section 32.226, description of work, that way everybody would know what routine maintenance is, minor work and major work, because the chart really didn't have any reference
That's nice.
anywhere.
Tracy, just a minor thing in the publication of this, will the headings on every, when someone flips a page, will you still see
Yes.
the heading? Because we don't on this, so,
Yeah.
thanks.
I don't know why they, oh, I see, because that one was. Yes, I have them on some pages, but yes, definitely the headings will be on there. And we added a new category, you can tell me wrong, what was that? Oh, it had to do with like HVA equipment.
Yep.
That's different from, because again,
Which item
Where
are
are
you
you?
referring to there?
It's,
Sorry,
it's
I'm
item
trying to
number
find
20,
it.
so it's on page 26.
item
On
number
your
20,
packet.
page 26, we did add that in.
And that came out from one of the contractors who reviewed this, saying he felt we should at least reference that as a category, just so everybody's clear about it. So we threw that in. I know that had not gone to the planning commission or the historic board. And we're happy to walk through any of these. We're just
Yeah,
trying to
so
note any changes that have happened since this was last published through the planning commission and the historic district review board.
So maybe this is what Ken asked. So the type of work and routine maintenance and all that will be
They'll be
each
on
column?
the
Okay. So are you saying that for HVAC, what do they need to do if,
For HVAC, it just says not historic but requires zoning administrator and building code approval.
Is there a fee?
That would, if they need a building permit or something, I wouldn't be able to
I
answer
won't know
that
that till they tell us what they're trying to do.
Okay.
So if they're just replacing a unit,
It may not require a fee, so.
Yeah, so a number of these items, the planning department wanted to include in here, even though it wasn't historic,
Right.
but just for completeness, indicate, hey, if you get to a swimming pool, oh, by the way, it's not historic, but
You need
to
approval.
talk to- So
That makes
there's
sense.
a number of these that we have
Okay.
had included.
I think one of the things that surprised me, Jeb, was really the number of things that you have to go, because I wouldn't have thought for some of these things that would require an inspection by you.
Well, some of them, that was kind of a struggle, when I was in these meetings. Some of them are kind of case-by-case basis, so we just said, let's just check it. All they have to do is ask, and I can say yes or no, right? So, some of them may not require a permit, but it just depends on the level of what they're getting into on that category.
And the only other thing, Paul, but we did talk about it, was we did on page 29, number 41 and 42. We added both of those and they're broken out. The temporary family health care structures and the temporary features accommodations.
Right, good.
Wanted to list those.
Paul's tent in the backyard.
My wife moves me out to the front lawn.
I'm talking about temporary family health care structure.
I'm hoping it's temporary.
So I guess at this point, any questions, any issues, anything you'd like to change? Do you think this meets what we were trying to achieve in resolving the appeal that we lost last year, or 2 years ago, and trying to produce a better document out to the public at large?
Yeah, I really think this is an excellent document, and people can now look up what they're doing and understand who they have to involve.
Well, and also, since hopefully some of the public is watching this, especially this part, that they'll know that this will be in the Historic District Guidelines, not a separate document, but this goes along with the Historic District Guidelines, Appendix G.
Good work.
Yeah, to appreciate the amount of
So
work
you're gonna
that's
see this
involved.
again, because at this point now, I need authorization from you. Yes, I'll end up getting the resolution of intent, saying that you want me to advance this as a zoning text amendment, and we will get that moving forward. So it goes to public hearing next month, goes back to the planning commission, because this is a zoning ordinance change. So hopefully to them, yeah, it should make it for next month's meeting. And then you'll see it again at your public hearing on this matter as well. I'm hoping to get it in for next month, but that's calendar contingent upon how much you have on your next meeting.
Who, our plate? Nah.
Yeah.
So the next step for us is to approve a resolution at one of our meetings.
That's
Okay,
correct.
Right, all right.
So I will see if I can get that in for tomorrow, but I can't guarantee it, meaning tomorrow to get into the next packet, but I may not be able to, but I'll move it over to Libby so that it's slid in as soon as it can be, yes. Okay, so I'm hearing yes, it's a go for me to move this forward?
Yep.
Thank you so much. Okay, item 2.
yes, moving on.
Rick, do you want to start this one? For the food? Why we did this?
Well, I'll just say a couple things and I'll piggyback. When I got here last summer, or last year, and then going into the summer, it was very interesting just to see what was going on the beach. And I was very surprised of just the inconsistency of what was going on. Tables, flags, loud generators, and just lots of complaints. I was just receiving them through the emails and going back, I feel like it was almost daily having conversation with Katie and Marion of like, what are the standards? And it just rose of saying, this is, it's all over the place. You know, we really need to take some time to redo our procedures of how we do food trucks so that it's, one, it's consistent and equitable so that all people will be following the same thing without exceptions. And so that's what, you know, caused this to kind of even rise. So we've spent several days and hours, many meetings with staff to get to this point. So we understand that it's not perfect, but we've done a lot of work to get to this point, so.
So with that said, we did a lot of research. We looked at many communities, not just in Virginia, but we went up and down to see. There are a lot of cities who have a lot more experience in dealing with food trucks than we do, so we leaned upon every possible success story that we could. We've talked to the health department. Jeb was consulted in this. The finance department was heavily involved in this. Pam Enlund was instrumental in assisting us to get through this process. Jack also has been taking the lead in this department. He's going to walk you through the particulars, but I did want to talk about a couple of issues of structure. We did debate how to get this in because your current setup of governance is sitting in your town code, and it's under the taxation piece of your town code, and it's also briefly referenced in the component dealing with streets and sidewalks. There isn't a clear place where it was called out and really detailed. And so we started writing a policy statement and criteria to it, and it naturally fed into, we think this should be a zoning ordinance. And a category within our zoning ordinance that really details all the criteria associated with that. So we understand you may not find that acceptable, and we definitely can work to see, okay, if you don't want it in the zoning ordinance, we can try and figure out how to get it into the town code this way. But zoning seemed to make the most sense because there was governance over districts and how we were putting things in. And then eventually, if there are violations, it's the best place for us, we know how to enforce and handle any violations of such an ordinance. So with that said, I'm going to Jack, and he's going to now walk you through the document we developed.
So, we're looking at, this is page 37 of your packet, so I guess the first question I'm going to fire off is everyone okay with the title of the ordinance? It's kind of a mouthful, Mobile Food or Beverage Vending Unit Ordinance. We titled it that because we don't just have food trucks, we have concession carts with concession trailers, got people on bikes, we got push carts, so that was kind of the idea, to try to encapsulate all that into the title, but it is wordy, so if we want to change that, we are open to suggestions.
Where are we? What?
Sorry, we jumped right to page 37. I didn't go back.
Okay.
I glossed over your
That's
current
okay.
ordinance, your current town code sections, and we're going right to the proposed ordinance that we pitched.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure, sorry for that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, the only comment I have here is I would have preferred we use an amendment to our town code as opposed to creating a zoning ordinance. Keep it in one place that deals with finance, and you can put all these stipulations right there too.
Make note of that.
That's me. We need a consensus. That's,
Yeah, tell me why.
well, right now, it's in town code. And what they're doing is expanding, and some of this stuff can be in both zoning and ordinance, in town code. And I'm just saying, in my preference, I'd like it in one location, and to me, it should be in town code. That's where that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, why did you guys think differently?
If you want to step in, come on in.
It was directed towards more enforceable teeth and criteria in going after violations. Zoning ordinance gives us a lot more, again, teeth to go after and either shut these things down or make them comply. Town code is very vague when it comes to enforcement, opposed to the zoning ordinance is more strict.
So would you say then, because right now, I don't have anything in here that talks violations.
It falls actually under what is in your zoning ordinance for violations. It will-
Okay, well, there's no reference even then to,
Doesn't need to, because if this becomes a section or chapter within your zoning ordinance, it falls
Okay, but
under the requirements of dealing with any violations of the zoning ordinance and what those penalties are.
okay, but I do have violations within my town code as well.
You do, but they are hard to enforce and don't really achieve the results that you're trying to do,
Okay, I'm not sure
so.
I'd agree with that, but I'll take
I
your word
will,
for it.
my one comment, if you want it in town code, it should be pulled out and listed as its own chapter.
That's fine. I'm
Because
almost,
right now it's tucked in, as I said, it's tucked into the taxation
correct,
section,
correct.
which doesn't really address criteria of how these sorts of
I agree.
operations should be.
I agree.
Business operations.
I agree.
So, but that's, again, as I mentioned up front, that's a decision of the council. If you want it to go into town code, we're gonna have to do a little work on that then. Because again, your teeth in your town code of violations is not very strong right now. So, I just want to make you aware, and this is why I don't think to date they've ever been triggered and used as penalties on any of your town code issues.
Yeah, I mean, even if you go back up to page 33, part of the town code, my understanding over the years was 150 feet from the nearest store, place of business, or any licensed person who sells the same food as a food truck. And then you use down at the bottom, 150-foot radius. Radius, was that in there? I always thought it was 150 feet. Not,
Well, it's a 150-foot radius. Sorry if I left off feet in that.
no, it was, I thought it was 150 feet. Did they put radius in the town code? I don't ever
No, but
remember.
that's what I've applied as a radius, so
That's
again,
ra-
to
that's
give
way-
people an idea
all right,
of what
that's-
would be applicable.
All right, that's way smaller than 150 feet.
Yes. Well, it's 150 feet from the center point of that establishment going out.
Well, that's how you're spelling it out, but it was before it was 150 feet from any structure,
Any brick and mortar.
any brick and mortar.
Well, not
That
any
sells
brick and
the
mortar,
same
any
thing.
brick and mortar that sells the same thing, that's what it reads. So, you're precluded from doing it across from E&O. There are certain sections in the commercial district you cannot have food vendors. Really, these mobile food trucks would only be applicable in what is R1. And are there any functioning food establishments that would be competitors? And the idea from why that town code was written the way it was nobody should be able to have a easier time at that sort of service when they don't have the underlying carrying costs of the infrastructure of a rental, of a property. And so I think that's why it was put in there, so that Northampton Hotel was the primary one that we had to gauge this from. That's why it says a radius, everybody could really see where you are at the Northampton Hotel, where the restaurant was located within the hotel. We then drew the radius out to give an idea of where you could not park a food truck. So that you could park it on Bay Avenue, but you could not make that circular coming down onto Mason in that fashion.
Is the Northampton back in service?
My understanding, what I've been informed from them, is they will be opening as the hotel lodging space, but not the restaurant. So this map will get updated, but again, they still have a few more weeks before they can change their mind. So-
But this is just an example
Yeah.
anyway, right? I mean, you're not gonna do every single business or.
No, you don't do every single,
Yeah.
but that's the only one that, again, that is already, they are zoned, the hotel itself is zoned C1.
Oh, I got you
Just
because
keep
of
that
this.
in mind.
Yeah.
But everywhere else around Bay Avenue is R1, where mobile food trucks are allowed.
Right.
And so I needed to make sure, okay, you can't be within 150 feet of the Northampton Hotel because they do food service, restaurant service. And again, as I said, for the commercial properties, you hit down to Dead Rice Pizza, or you hit to, can I think of another one off the top of my head, the Coffee House. You're not allowed to park a food truck in the C1 district,
Right.
so.
So, I have a question. There have been occasions where a food truck is close to a business because they got permission from that business. Is that something that we can work into here? Because it happens. That's happened often, actually.
I read it in here when you talked about special events, that it didn't.
Special events are different.
Right, and so
There's a
that,
whole other
Okay.
policy. We're working on that for you.
well, no, I meant the food trucks during, because you mentioned special events in here.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not applicable to the food trucks during special events, so, right, so that
Okay.
would be allowed for like festive Fridays and.
So then
those kinds of
should we say in here with the exception of special events? I mean, because I think people will point, well, it says no.
So I
Well,
want
it's
to
in
make sure,
there.
before we
Special
get into
events
the
is in there.
detail, I want to make sure we're finished with whether it should be
Okay.
town code or
Oh,
zoning ordinance, or
okay.
you can come back and have that conversation once we get through the whole policy.
So the ordinance would be, you place it in Article 4? Where would you
Yes,
put
I would
it?
put it
Article
in
4?
the general regulations.
And would you take something out of the town code?
I would modify the town code a little bit so that it still references from the taxation piece that there's a tax rate applicable to this sort of operation. And I probably would include a reference, that the criteria for this sort of business operation is found in the zoning ordinance and direct people over there.
Okay.
Because the zoning ordinance is now part of the town code, which until this year was not the case. Your zoning ordinance was sitting off as its own lone document. We've now brought it all home. So it's easier to find these things, so.
So while we're on this enforcement topic for just a second, because I don't have my head wrapped around that at all. I mean, tomorrow a guy shows up, starts doing something that's disallowed. What is our remedy? How do we enforce that? I mean, is that,
I've not been involved in that up to this point, so I
Right.
turned to Rick to see
what-
how they've handled it.
What I've done is I've gone through the code, find out what the potential violation is. I print it out, I called Jim and asked Jim to go with me.
Okay.
And we go to the person, so for the example that we did was a very loud
Generator.
I was receiving emails from residents, so I had already something to work on. Jim and I went over there. You can, as we drive, you can hear the sounds of quiet generators, and then all of a sudden you come at one, and it's 2-3 times louder than the quieter ones. So it's very obvious it's one. We talk to him, we show him the code, and we ask him, hey, you have, we want to work with you, but we would like for you to change out your generator for a quieter one like everyone else has. And they usually comply immediately. I've not had anybody that would, but that's what we've done. We've given them a time frame, a week, have this changed in a week, and then they come back. Now, another example would be, somebody had set up tables around, and that wasn't allowed to set up tables.
No, it is allowed. There's nothing that prohibits it.
Right
Your
now.
town code today, there's nothing that prohibits that.
Well, maybe it wasn't tables, it was,
it was a health department thing because they were selling merchandise. Right.
There are all things, but
Yeah.
that's the point is, we needed to get to some real
Yeah.
things written down, not just how we've traditionally handled things.
Sure.
Yeah.
no, another example was somebody would set up towards the street and not towards the beach. And we went down there to talk to them, you can't do this. They didn't like it, they
I
pushed back on it,
Yeah.
Then they sent letters saying that we were singling them out. And it wasn't, it was because of a hazard, and so then we went down there, and then we had everyone who was facing the street turn their carts or food trucks around to the other direction.
Yeah.
And it was solved.
And is that, I missed that. Is that stated in here that that's
Yes.
what they're supposed to do?
Yes.
So does that, I mean, I guess I don't understand the difference between the enforceability, whether it's in code or ordinance, but I leave that to,
I mean, do we have the option to revoke a permit in situations like that? If the person's not complying, can we revoke their permit?
Well, you're not issuing a permit, you're issuing a business license in which and that's to govern the remittance of certain taxes to you.
So, in this new,
It's a zoning permit that would be issued, and yes, that is revocable.
and that would mean they could no longer do business? Yeah, okay, so would we have something comparable to that if we kept it in the town code?
If that's where you want to put, I said we'd have to do some
I'm just
revisions so we
curious.
can bring it back to you.
Yes, but if it moved, this is part of the discussion,
Yeah.
whether we want it in the town code or the zoning, and I'm just trying to get my head around it as
Exactly.
it is. If we moved it to the town code, would you still be issuing a permit or just the business license at that point?
We'd have to figure that out, because I wouldn't be involved in doing it.
Got it.
My office would not be doing it, so is this gonna be the responsibility of the town manager's office? Is this gonna be under the finance department's office? Is this going to
Gotcha.
the sheriff, to the police department? We're gonna have to figure out who has that authority. It won't be my position, because my job is zoning. Yes.
Right.
And yes, Jim has handled it through the police department, they handle certain things from a legal perspective. My office is the next one, we deal with violations a lot, we know how to do this process. So it naturally made sense to throw it into my world, because we know how to do the criteria, do the reviews, set it up, and then also investigate, and then go through a public process, a due process. Which, yes, under the zoning ordinance, it's very specific. I have to give them written notice of what it is. I have to outline how they can correct the deficiency, provide them a time to do it. If they fail to do it, then we go into a full-blown hearing. And then that's contention before me where I pulled their permit, they have a right to appeal me. They go to the Board of Zoning Appeals and get another chance at a hearing from them to see, was I following the law accordingly?
What would we do if it was a brick and mortar restaurant, say, and they, I don't know, we're setting up tables further into the sidewalk than they were supposed to?
I'd go after them through a zoning violation on those.
Because they have a zoning, they have to get a permit through you as well?
Yes, they all.
Business license.
That's what I'm asking,
Business
is just to understand so that we're really kind of putting everyone in the same
It should be
bucket.
in the same bucket, I think.
Yes, so if that's the case, then it does, in my mind, make sense to keep it in zoning.
As long as we enforce it equally, we should not discriminate against, food vendors.
Right.
So,
So, again, we can revisit this once we walk through the whole proposed policy. I don't wanna say one way or another, so let's go through it. So Jack, you're up now.
Okay, so I'm just gonna walk through each section. We're starting on page 37 again. If you have questions, just talk over me. So, first one, title, this ordinance shall be known and may be cited as the Town of Cape Charles Mobile Food or Beverage Vending Unit Ordinance. Jurisdiction on and after date of adoption, this ordinance shall govern the use of all mobile food or beverage vending units on all lands lying within the Town of Cape Charles. Code administrator, this ordinance shall be administered and enforced by the zoning administrator or their appointed designee.
I'd ask you, rather than read it all,
Yeah.
we've read it all,
Okay.
okay? You just hit the
the
sections
highlights.
and.
The
ask
section,
for
and then we'll,
questions
yeah.
if need
Any
be.
questions on
Let me
each?
ask the question, would it make sense for the title to actually be food and/or beverage vending?
Mobile food and/or?
Yeah, beverage.
sure.
Yeah.
Add some more words.
Okay, so, I know there was some contention on some of our definitions. I think as long as most of them, I hope are good, but I know concession trailer, we got a comment earlier today. So I'm gonna read that definition. A mobile food or beverage vending unit that is pulled by a motorized unit and has no power to move on its own. The concession trailer must remain attached to the towing vehicle during hours of operation, and the power supply must be attached to the concession trailer.
What
So
was
I
the
think
reasoning?
Yeah, can I
Yeah,
answer that?
why-
What's the purpose of that?
so that, we can do a
Taking
little
more parking.
finagling, and we can say concession trailer may remain attached to the towing vehicle, or the concession trailer may be detached from the towing vehicle, but the towing vehicle needs to be nearby or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Well,
Why?
it
It's
just
taking
says
up
it can't
parking.
stay there overnight, so I don't know why it
Yeah,
makes a
why
difference.
does it matter?
Yeah, because it needs taking up parking.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I'd give it the option to kind of go somewhere else if they
I'd
can.
actually prefer it to go someplace else.
And a lot of them have their generators in the trucks, but you still have it in the proposed ordinance to have the generator affixed to.
Right.
So then in
It's
that
like
case,
in
it
the-
would have to be affixed to the trailer.
Like in the park, when people go and the vendors are going, they get their food trailer in place and then move their trucks, thank goodness,
Correct.
because they're huge, to another location. Otherwise, that would be,
So one of the reasons why we wanted the towing vehicle to stay with the trailer itself is if an emergency should arise and public safety needs to get that area cleaned out so they can get, whether it be rescue issues, fire trucks or other emergency personnel up there for whatever may be occurring at the beach, we wanted to be able to get those sorts of stuff out of the way. Because it's not gonna be easy to move the parked vehicles of the guests out on the beach.
right, I understand that, but we have to, if you're looking at the scenario of the park,
The park is different because you've
really
got a very
unrealistic.
identified location of where your vendors can be located, correct?
yes.
We
But if you
don't
still
have
have
that
to-
for Bay Avenue. It
If-
could
if-
be all of Bay Avenue.
If you
What,
wanna
but
get-
this is gonna relate to both, right? Correct, because they're food, no?
No,
Or special event.
because they're
Special
gonna be
events are-
covered under the special events policy that we're in the midst
There's
of
that
drafting.
special events thing again.
Nobody is moving their vehicles.
Okay.
Nobody is moving their vehicles onto another street. They're leaving parked right in front of their trailers as it is.
On the beach,
It was all
That's
that
what they're doing
safety.
today.
on the
Yeah.
beach, yeah.
If they need to move them for emergency access, or say the thing caught on fire, my thought was they could quickly move it away from other hazards, other vehicles, other whatever,
Gotcha.
in the event that the thing does catch fire.
I'm not sure we
We do have
want,
a vendor that doesn't keep it
Yes.
attached.
Right.
We specifically have a vendor who's written into all of us saying that that would actually be detrimental to sort of what she's doing.
And we're fine if she wants to detach her piece of equipment, her trailer, and bring it level, because she mentioned that there may be some operational issues because of stability or levelness
Yes.
of it. I think that what Jack is indicating, we talked about that earlier today, and we said, I think we've got a way to rewrite some of the language in the concession trailer to allow them to not must remain, but may remain attached, meaning they could detach, but we do still want to keep their vehicle close by there. Because again, once they leave it, and like Jeb just pointed out, or if there's a search and rescue that's going on down on the beach, and you need all that stuff out of there, because you got to focus on the issue at hand. If I haven't gotten all of the personal vehicles of the people down on the beach gone, and it happens to be that Subaru is parked in front of this food vendor, she can't haul it out because that Subaru's in the way. And that Subaru may be in the front, not coming back out.
I mean, I'm fine with it being in front
Right.
of the trailer, but it can be unhinged.
Yes,
And
can
just
be on.
it's taking up a lot of
Yes.
parking down on the waterfront.
Well, let's.
And I think
we actually
realistically, we
walk
don't want
through
somebody
and
getting back in the
get
truck when it's on fire.
Yeah, I don't know if
a
I
better
would
understanding of
promote
what is
someone
the
taking
parking
off with a thing on
capacity
fire.
of Old Bay Avenue.
That'd be a bad idea.
So go for it,
What
Jack.
did you say? I'm sorry, 1 second, what'd you say?
I don't think it'd be a great idea if something's on fire to be driving it away.
Oh.
I'm not saying drive away, I'm just saying pull it away.
I know,
Right.
I know, but some people, saying,
Jeff's
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know if I would put that verbiage in
That
there.
would be my first thought. I don't want to take
Well,
5 other people's vehicles
yeah.
for my insurance,
Well, that's true too.
Where it's not a.
But you're a professional firefighter.
Right, exactly.
Maybe we should pull it to the other side of the road.
I know, I'd be the same way. I'd be the same way.
Go ahead, talk to them about the parking spaces that we think are on Bay Avenue.
All right, so Katie and I this afternoon went out and measured all of Bay Avenue to get a feel of how many parking spaces we could fit on Bay Avenue. So there's currently 288 parking spaces towards the front of Bay Avenue in Mason.
Parallel or pull in? Pull in or parallel?
Parallel.
Parallel to Bay Avenue.
When you say front, are you saying east or west?
West.
On the non-residential side of Bay Avenue.
West.
Okay, so we measured, and there was, to our best guess, there were 79 parking spots that could be fit all along Bay Avenue,
All the way down to
all the way
Washington.
to Washington.
From Mason to Washington.
And those were 8 feet wide, 20 feet long, so normal parking space.
22 feet long. Sorry.
Sorry.
And why do we need that info? What's that give us? I'm just, what
Say
what
again.
prompted you to do that for,
One, because if this ordinance, if this policy moves forward and gets adopted by you, we're gonna have to have clear delineated parking spaces. And right now, you don't have
sure,
delineated parking spaces on Bay Avenue. Everybody knows how to park, but there's not
No,
really
it's-
clear, this is your
sure.
space.
Oh, I know. I understand.
They don't know how to park.
And are we going to
Well, they have
delineate
golf carts.
golf cart? Let's just open that can of worms because that's such an
That's a
easy one to
conversation
address.
I will have with the town manager, and he with VDOT, if they will allow us to be able to designate some of these spots that are golf cart specific, so
Yeah.
that we can fit more of those in there in this.
You're right. Okay.
process. Yes.
I think we really boogered up and put reverse angle parking in.
Yeah.
Jack, move it on. Let's-
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so we're in section 2 definitions. If no one's got any more comments or questions, we'll move on to section 3, permit required. So this is just outlining everything that you are gonna have to provide the zoning administrator before you're getting a permit from our office for food truck, local food or beverage vending license. So I guess the one that I am gonna talk about is 5, just the verbiage at the bottom of that one, all special events and town-sponsored event applications must fill out the special events application, which includes a section identifying the number of local food and beverage vendors and get approval from the town manager.
Where are we?
We are on page
38,
39.
39.
Oh, I went way past.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I didn't see 5, I see 4. Section 4?
We're on
Number
section 3, permit
Oh,
required.
3. All right.
So
Gotcha.
E5.
Gotcha.
There we go. Okay.
you saying for that situation, it would be the coordinator of the special event is getting the permit and saying, I'm gonna have X number of food trucks at the special event?
That's
Okay.
correct. And so this way, it's doing twofold for us, and again, we are still in the generation of that policy document of special events. We've already had a couple meetings on this from internal staff. We did a larger meeting with town manager, police chief, et cetera, on the special events application process. We wanted to ensure that, okay, if you come in just as a special event, whether you're a food vendor, you're a retailer, or craftsman or whatever, you don't have to get a business license. You're gonna be covered under the special event permit that function got. Because we are constantly chasing vendors to get licensed with us who are coming in here on a singular one-off. And that is, I don't think, in the best interest of the town. It's not what we're trying to achieve for these special events. We are trying to get more of that sort of street fair kind of party festivity of vendors down there, and having to say, before you can go to be there for Festive Fridays, you gotta come get a license from us. And to some vendors, they're like, I'm not gonna do this again, this was too hard. For a one-off, this was too hard to get licensed. So that's part of what we're building into the special events process is, I'll pick on SailFest. SailFest would apply to the special events, tell us everything that they're gonna do, and that would be the umbrella coverage for all other vendors within that.
And is it then that organization's responsibility to get the insurance, proof of insurance,
Yep.
et cetera?
Yep.
And is that fee gonna go up for the special events or no?
We haven't even talked about fees yet, I'm still drafting the
Just
policy
curious.
document.
I mean, just
And
curious.
then, I
And
see,
that we were trying to get it for this meeting, we didn't quite get there. You're gonna probably see it sometime next month, that this draft policy for special events will be coming in your direction.
so I see that it says, includes a section identifying the number of mobile food and beverage vendors. So, again, the park, and that varies week to week. And sometimes it varies based on weather or things like that, so it's ever changing. But I know they turn in a special event form for the summer.
Right.
So I'm not sure that they would be able to determine,
And they could just listen, I don't know, however many, and say,
Yeah.
we may not have all of
Okay.
these, but this would be the.
good,
We just wanna make sure it goes under them.
yep, okay.
So they're
Well,
not coming to us trying to get separate things. It
I just
falls
know
all-
that situation's kind of ever-changing.
So if they did it for the whole concert and put everybody that's gonna be throughout the summer,
Yes.
they would
It
just
would
have
be
to put it in
theirs.
one.
Yeah.
But also specify it's only this
So
number
many.
at a time.
Right.
Yes,
They control how many they want,
yep,
and it's theirs.
they're gig,
They control or they request?
So if they wanna do the summer
They,
concert with
they
vendors,
request it to us, but in terms of each night, so each,
Right,
this,
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
one in June, they're gonna have these 4 vendors,
But we-
versus in July, we're gonna open it up and we're gonna put these different 4 vendors.
But we could still set, it can't be more than
No more
this
than
number.
4 or 5, whatever fits in that space that they're doing their event.
that's why they would bring it to me, and then I would approve it.
got it,
And then they control it from there. No longer are vendors coming to me.
right, thank you.
My one
Appreciate
issue with that though is then, what about even a peddler's license or something that these vendors would do? Because now we're putting a licensing fee or a permitting fee on our permanent vendors here, but others who might be coming for a one-off event are getting in.
I'm not saying they're getting it free.
They may
You as an
charge.
organizer may be charging
Yeah.
a booth space or a fee space to be a vendor at your event.
Sure.
To cover
I'm
the
not
cost
just
of
party, the town would not be a party to that financial transaction.
Right.
Except that, and maybe this is going a
Depending
little
upon
bit
the fee.
off path here, but I'm charging a booth fee or a vendor fee to current Cape Charles vendors who have business licenses. So now we've got kind of two sets of vendors. Some that are coming in for a one-off and don't have to pay this fee, and those that are permanent businesses here in town and do have to pay
Well,
this business license
At this
fee.
point, nowhere do I talk about fees in here, period.
Yeah,
Okay.
So that's a conversation, I think once we get to a policy, we'll come back to you with the fee considerations as to how they should be treated all the way through,
Okay.
okay?
I just don't like having two separate expectations.
Well, if they have a,
And-
if we come up with a fee for this general thing for special events, you know, for the special events, they might have to pay a fee to be in that special event, which is.
Which is what they
right-hand
do
pay-
for the
right-
park
yeah,
now.
Right hand pays the left hand.
Right, right now they pay a
Citizens
$150
of Central
fee.
Park, maybe their fee to get this permit, this special event, I know we're not talking about the special
Yeah.
events, but I'm gonna do it. Special events is say, I don't know, don't hold me to this, I'm just making a number up, $500.
Right.
And that covers their season or whatever. And then you wanna be a food vendor at one or more of the concert series, you're paying Central Park,
Right.
whatever that rate is, $50 or $100.
Which is what they currently do.
Which has nothing to do with us whatsoever.
Right.
So will the town, as essentially the event organizer of the 4th of July, have a separate guideline for vendors specific to that day?
Within the special events policy that we're drafting, we are having what's called town-sponsored events,
Okay.
town-affiliated events, or
Gotcha.
private events. Yes.
Beautiful.
But again, I don't mean to digress, we
Yep.
are so far off tonight's topic.
It's on here.
Oh, we're just having so much fun that we want to go into deep.
I'm always on our food vendor policy, mobile food.
All right, so we are under 5 now, but we have no more questions about,
No, you.
No,
No,
we're-
it's
we have
4.
section 4.
Performance standards.
oh, no, I was just saying number 5.
Oh, okay.
Number 5 and 3.
Okay.
So if we have no more questions in section 3, we're gonna jump down to, section 4, performance standards. I'm just gonna hit the bullets, so any questions about location?
Well, now I'm confused, because earlier you were
Yes.
talking about a
Radius.
and here it says linear feet.
Right.
We are now making it clear, because we felt there needed to be a clear standard, so we can make it radius, or you can call it linear feet.
It should just be consistent.
Yeah,
One or the
that's
other.
all.
This would be the consistency, so if you wanted to say linear feet, that's what we put in here. If you wanted to say radius, then we'll change it to radius. Radius is how I'm interpreting it today.
But the code currently says 150 feet.
Yes.
But not linear, it just says 150 feet.
Oh, that's the other,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's.
Whichever way we do it, just make it consistent.
Same, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, and then mobile food or beverage vendors may only be located in valid parking spaces and may only be located on the non-residential side if they have to. Then we've got hours of operation, so if you have a generator, you can only operate between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., Sunday through Saturday.
So I
Yeah.
have question of
I
that.
was gonna say we can't go.
I think that 6 PM is too early for, people go down for sunset. There's a lot of our vendor, it may end up just being 2 vendors, but they're, ices and things like that that are after dinner types of,
Our thought was, because this is a residential area and we're allowing commercial use to take place in it, we would want to give the residents that they have in their street back and their peace and quiet, and they're not just hearing generators run till 8 p.m.
Well,
I-
our noise
I think it's too soon.
ordinance doesn't start until what, 10:30?
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I think cutting this off at 6, you can't get into restaurants in this town in the summer. This provides another place for people, this basically makes it a lunchtime activity.
Yeah,
So I think 8 o'clock is a reasonable time. You look at, in the summer, sunset is 8:30, or on
Yeah.
the 4th of July, it's actually 8:35. I'll look that one up. So I think 8 o'clock is a reasonable time.
I do
think
too.
8 o'clock's actually a little early, I
Yeah.
would say maybe even 9.
Yeah.
but-
And also we have to think about if we change it now, once we do finally get our beach master plan done and put it in,
Yep.
and the power goes in, there'll be no more generators, and
Right.
now we'll have to go back and change it again, so let's just change it now. Because hopefully, God willing, that will get done soon.
You have high hopes that's getting funded right away.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I
Yes,
agree,
do.
I agree with
I'm a
Ken and
very
8
positive
PM.
8 or 9,
8, yeah,
split it, 8:30.
yeah.
And then
I'll
Nine-
take,
nine-
I'll take 8:30, I'm not opposed to it.
9 o'clock at the 10 spot.
Here we go. Exempt.
8:30 it is.
Yeah,
8:30?
Yes.
and do we want 8:30 for without a generator?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Right. It's really just the morning.
I mean, without a generator, what does it,
Right.
whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
yeah,
And vendors are gonna leave when there's no more people.
yes.
I mean, they're not gonna stick around, so.
And then 3, vendors are not able to drop off their mobile food or beverage vending and leave it unattended outside of operation hours. Someone must be with it at all times in case of an emergency.
So when you say outside of operation hours, do you mean outside of the 10 a.m. and 7 a.m. hours, or outside of the hours in which they are open and serving food?
Outside of the 10 a.m. to 8:30,
Okay.
7 a.m. to 8:30.
So you can't leave it overnight.
Right, that's
yeah.
easy.
Or you can't drop it off, say, at 5 p.m., 5 a.m. to ensure you get the best spot you want.
Right, which is what they do in the
Like
park
they do with the
for,
chairs too on the beach, so yeah.
Just
Drive
to
me
clarify,
crazy.
you're not you have to leave the vehicle with it, right?
Yeah.
So you're not dropping it off. The vehicle has to stay with it.
They might have a partner.
Well, you can
I have somebody that
Just-
does it in the
just to-
park and somebody picks them up and
No,
takes
no,
them.
no, but just,
They
yeah,
drop it off at 4
yeah,
PM.
but just to keep it clear, if the vehicle's gotta stay with it, the vehicle's gotta stay.
Yeah.
It's just,
Oh, wait, we didn't say.
I wouldn't
we
say-
didn't the
Yeah, I
vehicle
thought we
has to
went
stay.
off of that.
It-
we
we
did.
We
It
said
just doesn't have to be
hooked-
attached.
doesn't have to be
Hooked up.
attached, but it still
We
has.
did keep
So
it.
now we decided that the vehicle does have to stay with it.
That's what we did say.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be attached.
Yeah, I know,
But we do want it to stay with it just in
If it's gotta
case it
be
needs
with
to
Why
move.
not, yeah, but.
I know.
I would try
Yeah,
to
that's why
change-
we
I
were
would
making
cha-
jokes about the driving
I would
away.
just change the
We
verbiage of
agree.
dropping it off, leaving setup or something. Set apparatus, whatever, because dropping off just kind of sounds like you're gonna drop off the trailer and take the car.
And I'm concerned
To
with
me.
the 10 a.m. time. You can't set up your food unit before 10 a.m. You're not gonna have any down there, because there's no place to park.
It says operate. You can bring it before that.
You just have to stay with it.
Yeah. Okay, stay with it. You can't sell.
Okay, okay.
Get your son.
That's why I asked the question about what time are we actually talking about?
So they can get there at 5 a.m., they're just sitting with their truck till 10 a.m.
They can't start their generator.
That's correct.
Let me ask a question. Is there any way that we can, in advance of getting this beachfront master plan soon, create our own food vendor area on Bay Avenue so that there isn't this issue with needing to get there early to find park? I mean, we're essentially asking these vendors to come and sit there and pay somebody for 3 hours to do nothing, to get no sales.
I'm gonna disagree with you. We're
Most
not
owners
requiring them to do
operators.
that at all. They have the entire length of Bay Avenue to operate. I get that there may be more desirable parking locations on Bay Avenue than some others. This compels them to kind of stretch it out. They don't have to come that early. There is plenty of parking that they can get.
If you want to designate areas, we can do that.
Why?
But you gotta petition VDOT.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
a tough
correct.
road.
We'd have to
Why
petition
wouldn't
VDOT.
we? I mean, we're years out from a beachfront master plan, I'm sorry, we are, with a food vendor area. Why wouldn't we just go ahead and petition VDOT and have that? And then that changes the game for a lot of these food vendors. They don't have to come at 7 a.m. and try and get the best spot.
Well, I
They're
can
not
see
gonna
the
stay in
fights now.
business if they don't have a good spot to be able to sell. I mean, so we don't wanna,
Well,
Then do they have to be in that spot, and then we have,
yeah,
Yeah, we talked about that, and then, so say we designate 5 spots down Bay Avenue for food truck parking. Bad weather day. So then you're taking away potentially 8 to 10 vehicles that could park in those spots when the mobile food trucks don't show up that day. If you designate them as mobile food spots and nobody else can park there, then that's parking that's taken up, that's not being utilized.
Well, the other issue is like, you could theoretically have to limit the number of license you're gonna offer, because if you sell 8 and you've only got 5 spots, where are they supposed to go?
good point.
But it'll be the same thing when we do if we do
yeah, it's gonna be
the
the
vendor.
exact same.
Yeah, no, well, but
Yeah,
that's
and we
something
did,
that.
and we did discuss that, but we
Well,
knew that that would be a whole new level of,
Exactly, that's what big boy
Yeah.
towns do, is figure that kind of stuff out.
Yeah.
When the day comes, we
Yeah.
have to, but
Right.
in the immediate term, I don't know that we're ready for that.
yeah.
Something we're gonna get our big boy pants on for some reason, when we have a beachfront master plan all of a sudden.
Most.
Yeah, when we have power, when we have like
Okay.
leasable spots that are predictable, write a proposal, I'm not opposed to it. I don't know what the idea is.
I just said, petition VDOT to have a specific amount of space on Bay Avenue designated for food vendors.
For how many?
I don't
So,
know.
okay, so this is
Depends on
something
how
that
big
the
they are,
staff is gonna
Yeah.
have to come,
Yeah.
if you want, the staff's gonna have to come back and propose what they would offer we're not gonna solve that tonight.
And we would have to figure out off-season, like, is the sign, because we don't want that, you know, all year long, that, when there's no food truck in sight, right?
And there's no point to have it after 8:30.
Signage that would say
Sign that just says,
November to,
yeah,
right.
November,
This time to
November
that time. No
Yeah.
par-
April, you can
There's
park
no
here.
parking signs that always.
Always have
designate
extra.
time and
Yes.
all that.
I like the analogy KISS.
What's that?
Keep it simple.
Sounds great, keep it simple,
There's too much government.
Moving on,
as we see.
please.
All right, so, add Andy's comments to change drop off. Jump down to signs, if anyone has questions on signs.
Yeah, the only question I had there is, item number 3, zoning administrator may approve flags, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's no criteria specified, so I'm not sure leaving that open to discretion of zoning administrator as opposed, is there a possibility of tying it to our sign ordinance that has temporary signs?
Yeah, it's either you have them or you don't.
We have numbers and sizes and
Can't
what
control
have
the
you
content,
there. I
period.
just asked, I don't know the answer, but can you tie this and direct it that that's where the criteria is for signs, temporary signs?
And what is this word? I've never even heard of, decorative, a pure
Pertinences.
pertinences. That's a SAT word right there.
But these in particular, this is
Appurtenances.
where we recognize the individuality of these food trucks. Some of them may have a flag. Flag's pretty easy, we get. Banners, they can be done in any number of ways the banners are. I think some of them have a little, flippy balloon.
Yes.
What do you call it? I don't know.
Yeah, the moving then.
Yeah.
Two men, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Some have whirly gigs. We've seen different decorative features. We didn't know what to call them or how to deal
Yeah.
with them. That's why we put some language here.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, the language is so open-ended, it's like, what kind of criteria will allow
Right.
you to decide one versus another?
Yeah, you can't. You
And
can't.
all I'm saying is look at the temporary sign portion of our ordinance to see if that's more specific to satisfy what you're looking for.
And I know that Pam had, this is probably, I'm going to get the special events answer again. But I know that Pam had issues during 4th of July when people had, you know, big flags like outside of their unit taking up space. And that would allow them to do that?
Nothing
or
can be
no?
outside your unit, it must be affixed. So in this case,
Oh,
number
okay.
3, this type of signage must be permanently affixed to your truck, to your vendor, to your, whatever your unit is.
So
What are
that, those kind of pop-up flags are signs that go up, that say open, that they set up outside of their,
They would need to have it affixed to their vehicle.
It fixed, and then why don't you just do it by size? That way you're not sitting there trying to pick and choose. Because the reason why I say that is because you gotta be careful with the content, regardless of what it is. If it's a sign, it's a sign, and you can't control the content of it whatsoever. It doesn't matter what it is. It's the First Amendment right. They can do whatever they want. So I would limit it based on size, you know, whatever, 15 square feet, which is, you know, 3x5 flag, you know, something like that. I would just keep it to a size and a fixed, and that'll solve all your problems.
Okay.
so, does I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Does number 1 say anything about a fixed?
No, because
That's
we're
what
giving them
A-frames.
categories. the
Yeah,
types of
how's an
signs they are
A-frame
allowed.
affixed?
But well, I'm talking the ones affixed are the banners, the flags, the things that flip and flash.
Yeah,
Mini board.
yes.
Those are, we're saying, need to be affixed.
Oh, I got you.
Yes.
With item number 3, getting back to 3, the second portion there,
So
however,
clear.
zoning administrator may approve whether attached or detached on a case by case. So that's telling me I can have perhaps a flag, if you approve, detached from my
If it's gonna be
van.
attached, that just needs to be removed. If that's what we're going with.
I would just go
That's what
attach
we
and
heard.
size, yeah,
Well,
So we're
and,
removing the word detached.
correct.
We can remove detached, and also we're taking away that the zoning administrator may have flexibility. No,
That's
we're
it.
gonna-
Just
we're gonna
take from there all the way
specify
down. Correct.
Exactly, size, et cetera. Yes.
Correct.
I don't see detached in here.
It's,
Affixed.
the very last sentence.
No, three,
No.
item three.
Item 3, zoning administrator may
Oh,
approve
detached.
flags, banners, or other.
Whether attached or detached, okay.
And does
No, that goes
number
away.
2 relate to number
Goes away,
1?
Goes away.
Double negative.
It goes away.
Yeah, the A-frame can't be more than 5 feet.
It goes away.
So should it say the A-frames again? Because that just says signs shall be positioned within 5 feet of the vehicle. So that says to me, maybe I could put up a flag, dancing flag sign.
We can make it clear that it's an A-frame.
I think it needs to say A-frame.
Or just move it into number
Or move it
one.
into that next one, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's already in there.
Do we have any ability to control just aesthetics of like,
No.
to prevent a van to just get a can of spray paint and write
I think there is
whatever on the
something in there
side?
about what it
There
looks
is
like.
something all the way at the end, I think it's like, appearance and maintenance of mobile food and beverage venue shall be kept in good repair. for years.
Come under page 42. Wait.
Can I just say about this process? I know you guys have put a lot of time
Yeah.
into this. We've been here for 2.5 hours. You've had a long day. There's a lot to this.
Yeah.
Like, let's all take a breath. And
Yeah.
if tonight's not the night to finish it, I don't want to feel like we're not allowed to ask questions because
Yeah,
there are things that need to be talked
There's
about.
good
It took us
questions.
forever to do that Article 8, and it took you forever on top of the breakout groups and work sessions, so
And
it
we're
may
not
take some
pushing you to
time.
make a decision
Okay.
tonight either.
Yeah.
No, this is our first chance to really review it with you.
yeah.
I needed to make sure that we're going through all this to let you know what we thought of, and I'm
Okay.
not saying we
Yes.
thought of everything.
No, it's great work. I mean, it's giving us something really good, very, very
And,
comprehensive.
and just going back to what you just said about appearance, you gotta be careful with that because there's a lot of restored vehicles that have the patine rust
Yeah.
look to it.
Right.
It looks like a piece of garbage, but those are very well upcut vehicles, believe it or not. I'm not kidding.
Well, like the candy store truck.
Yeah.
Come back to it, so keep
Yeah.
on going.
Convent
We're
on
finished with signs.
Okay, we're on track, if there's any questions on that.
Is there anything we can do to require them to provide their own receptacle? Because there are areas on Bay where you would have to walk 20 yards or more to throw away a straw wrapper if you're standing at the counter waiting for, and somebody who picks them up every day, it's just,
Yes.
it's what happens. It's like, it's in your hand, what are you supposed to do with it? I feel like there should be some
They should have self-contained
of their own
trash,
ability to
yeah.
do.
Because they take their trash and then shove it in our trash cans,
That's correct.
which then make them overfull, which is a problem. So that needs to be, if it's here, I've missed it, I'm sorry, but that's what happens currently,
I don't know
is,
if one kind of encapsulates that, maybe I'm wrong, but receptacles, either those already available on site or temporary portable ones provided by the mobile food or beverage unit vehicle operator.
I would
But
just
I
make
think
it,
what Clayton is asking is, should we not
Should-
make that a requirement? They
Yes.
must provide us
they must
Yeah.
provide.
And
And that
And
they
take it
cannot,
with them.
take your own trash.
and that they
There you go.
cannot dispose them into town trash cans,
Yeah.
receptacles. That's,
Put right in front of Brown Dog. Library.
hey, take your trash with you.
Trash removed daily.
And not the book return.
I know
or the
where
mailboxes.
there's one right down the street from me.
Can we allow them to dump at Public Works? I know by providing a place for them to do that, it's more likely that it could end up there as opposed to.
Yeah, but
stuff
that's gonna put a lot of pressure on Public Works to keep that clean. That's gonna be a nightmare. That's a lot of trash.
Well, right now, they're putting it in the trash receptacles, which then people are sitting the empty containers by the trash cans.
Just like,
So,
I mean, it's not like all
I don't
the
think
trash
that's a
is gonna
bad
go there.
idea.
It's just
Yeah.
some of it.
Yeah.
To have an
Just,
option.
just a
Yeah.
thought to
Do you
think
have a
about.
big box today?
no, you
There's
got,
a
you have
email
trash
saying-
trucks sitting there.
It's overflowing.
oh, yeah.
What, our dumpster?
No, the trash cans,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I don't think the Public Works option is a bad one. We used to do that with the stores on Mason for when they have, like right now, when they have a lot of cardboard coming in and stuff, they take it down there.
Well, Public Works is having to deal with it now.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
shoved into our trash cans on the beach, so
good point.
what
Yeah.
would they prefer? I
Yep.
imagine they prefer these guys to bring it to a dumpster at Public Works.
Yeah.
Right.
And are we gonna want all these food trucks going back into our private
Yeah.
public works facility in the middle of the night, tight back there, big food trucks, I mean. that's
So maybe they
something
just need to take it.
Take it and just,
Just take it.
it's just part of doing business.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
The transfer station right across the highway.
right,
yeah.
okay.
Throw it over the fence.
Nothing else on trash and refuse, we're gonna jump down to e-service. Any questions about that?
I have a question. I didn't understand no food shall be prepared, sold, or displayed outside of the mobile food or beverage vending unit. I understand what you're saying, but it sounds like they can't prepare it off-site and bring it there. That's the way I read that.
That's not the intent.
No, it's not the
Yeah,
intent,
the
that's
intent,
how,
yeah.
It does, you're
but
right.
that's how I'm reading it, and I worry that it would read that way to a business.
Maybe it needs to say must be prepared within the food truck, I don't know, something. I agree what you're saying.
But it doesn't have to be prepared in
No,
the
it
food truck.
doesn't.
Some of them are making it off-site and
Right.
bringing it in the food
Right.
truck.
Any
Right.
on-site food preparation must occur within, or
Yes,
There you go.
yeah.
within.
There you go.
Yeah, but unless they have a professional kitchen, they're not supposed to be preparing it off-site.
But that's the
That's
food health
Yeah,
department's
yeah,
issue. Louise will get them.
Yeah.
And you sort of hit that in number 3 anyway.
Damn, I can't bring my hibachi grill out.
Right.
So now, there was sound, questions on sound?
Yeah, generators must be quiet, I think is pretty broad. I know you don't want to get but so specific, but anybody who lives around there is going to say it's not quiet. It's a generator, it makes noise. So somehow we've got to work on, I don't know, number 2 is going to cause us problems somewhere.
Yeah, it's
But
just,
isn't that a specific type of
Decibel level,
generator?
yeah.
A quiet, it's called that? I mean,
Isn't there a certain decibel
Yeah.
level that they have?
Like somewhere in the 50 to 60 decibel range is a more quiet generator than.
65 is talking, right?
I have no idea.
You have no way to measure that.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
problem, you need
That's the
to have
problem.
it measured.
There's no enforcement of that.
Right.
And even the police department, they would have to get
Yeah.
a calibrated
Yeah,
unit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's, we ran into that same problem in Georgetown.
I
right.
think we can also recommend, as vendors come in, we can recommend put in an absorption mat underneath your generator, because that would take care of a lot of the vibrations, which creates, I don't think you put that in ordinance, but that somehow we can suggest, here are
Muffles
some
it.
things you
Yeah.
can do.
Smashers walled around it.
Oh, right, create a sound barrier around.
Do other people understand what crying out means? I don't think I understand that.
Yeah, like you know,
Yelling.
peanuts!
Wouldn't that be calling out, not crying out?
I mean, I can get in the app.
I wouldn't know what that meant, so it's just me then.
We
Gotcha.
took that, I think it's different from another.
From another place.
Specifically where you're allowed to do, as you just said, peanuts, hot dogs.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Get your hot dogs.
That must be, the crying out might be coming from Boston or
Yeah.
something.
They're a bunch of crybabies.
was that good? Pam
Lighting.
noticed, she perked up when you said, get your hot dogs here.
Hot dogs,
You
get your hot
hired?
dogs here.
She can't hear you.
She can't.
All
Bless her
right,
heart.
lighting.
Okay, so now down to lighting, no 1 volt there, questions or?
Utilities.
Hearing none, we're gonna move down to utilities. Questions, comments? No, hearing none, jump down to I, appearance and maintenance,
Covered that.
covered that, and then a little blurb at the bottom. Katie can revoke any permit at any time.
Yeah, but, parents maintenance, you're gonna get in trouble with one. Free of graffiti, that's dictating content, you can't do that.
That's not content.
Yes, it is. It's free, it's First Amendment right, they can do whatever they want. I'm telling you, you're gonna get in trouble with that one. Doesn't matter, you can't control the content of anything that's displayed.
Graffiti is not content, Andy.
Yes, it is, it's writing, it could be artwork. You're doing it right now.
All right, so I'd ask planning department to look into what is allowed there.
Yeah.
Be very careful.
All right.
All right,
All right, so let's come back to ordinance versus town code. I'm fine with Article 4, which means it's not in town code but goes into zoning.
Okay, good. I agree.
So all are in favor of zoning.
Okay, so we will incorporate the change we heard tonight, and we'll bring this back to you for further revision.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Yes,
Further
indeed.
revision or an actual resolution?
Depending on some of these items, because there are a couple that I want to make sure we're clear, we've got a way to do this. So it could be, yes, I think we got it all done, and we'll include the next round with a resolution of intent to seek your to send this out.
Because
to
nothing
public
says we
hearing.
can't comment and then still approve a resolution to move this forward.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the possible amendments to the short-term rental zoning ordinance section.
Come on, team, come on forward. So the last item, I've got Jeb is with us, Casey Quilter. It may be a while since you guys have seen and heard from him.
Hi, Casey.
And Paula Davis is with us as well. And we have several items that we'd like to talk to you about, potential revisions to the STR ordinance. We may be a little premature bringing this to you at this point in time because we think probably by the fall we may suggest some additional revisions to the ordinance because we are still in the first round of actual enforcement of this ordinance, application, administration, and enforcement of this. But already we have seen a couple items that we think should get addressed early versus later because we are having some issues. So with that said, I did want to make you aware, because we've had this come in, item C on this list, dealing with houseboat to be a short-term rental. I had extended an invitation to Derek, I'm going to say your name wrong, Derek, and I apologize, Ron Chioli, sorry, to have a chance to talk to you about his request on this. He had been denied a business license for short-term rental. He appealed that decision. The appeal was upheld for my decision, so he was denied that he could not pursue having an SDR in his houseboat, and he did want a chance to at least talk to you one-on-one. So when we get to that, if you'd be willing to offer him some time on your agenda tonight. With that said, I'm going to come back to item A. Oh no, I'm sorry, we actually did start with houseboats. I really did. I'm so sorry, so I guess I'm not reading. So before I even start, maybe I should give Derek the opportunity to talk to you first about why he would like the houseboat to be considered for an STR. So Derek, come on forward.
I'm sorry to be the one thing between you guys and getting home.
Don't worry about it.
Still early.
My name is Derek Ronchioli. I live in Norfolk right now. I'm in the Navy. Work over at Newport News on the aircraft carrier John F. Kennedy. I own all the services for the whole
Thank you for your
ship.
service.
So it's, laundry's the big issue right now. If you've heard about what happened in Ford, so we've been going through the record trying to get all of our stuff tightened up a little bit. We came up for vacation back in, I'm going to tell you the story of the houseboat real quick, and then I'll get into the quick issues. So we came up for a weekend, Memorial Day weekend in 2024. We met John, Leslie Roth, the previous owners of the houseboat, and they were very nice to us and welcomed our daughter and like gave us a tour because we showed interest. And after like several months of, we don't know if we want to buy it, we decided to make them an offer. We had intentions to move up to Cape Charles and commute down to Norfolk. The time I was stationed at Little Creek, right over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, and then I got orders over to Newport News, and now that's a little bit too far. We also had another baby in that time, so I have a son that's 6 months and a daughter that's 3.5 now. She absolutely loves coming out to the houseboat, but we want, our intention with it is to spend weekends up here and to really enjoy the tranquility of Cape Charles. It's like a breath of fresh air once you come across the bridge. What we realized is we weren't spending nearly as much time as we thought we were going to, as you might have experienced with RVs and vacation homes of your own. We wanted to share the experience with other people, and that's why we applied for the short-term rental permit. Now, my background is logistics in the Navy, but I have an engineering degree, so I'm pretty smart on the utility side of it. So I understand that's the real sticking point with the zoning ordinance. So we started by classifying the houseboat as a vessel with the Coast Guard. It has a marine registration with BRMC, and then we changed that designation to a floating home through the appeal process because it does not have a motor and cannot be moved. I can install a motor for a fairly reasonable amount of money and make it a movable vessel and kind of revert what we classify it as, but issue for you is sewage, trash, and water. So it has two toilets. One is a dry toilet, so it's powder. Powder turns number 1 to gel, and then every time you flush this toilet, it's like a big sock, and it twists. It's aluminum foil twists, and it goes further down into the little chamber.
It sounds like a diaper
genie.
diaper change heat.
I do a lot of those. So essentially, you get about
Genie.
20 to 30 flushes per sock, per liner, and it ends up being just a trash bag that weighs 15, 20 pounds, whatever. You put it in the trash from there. It's self-contained. The other toilet on the second floor is a marine grade Coast Guard approved, it's called an electroscan. So takes the waste, it puts it through 2 chambers. One emulsifies, the second chamber hits it with a 24-volt electrical current, which produces hydrochloric acid or sodium or bleach essentially, which kills the waste, kills the bacteria, and discharges it. That's what both toilets don't get a whole lot of use right now because we don't spend a bunch of time up here. They would obviously get a little bit more use with short-term rental, but I don't think it would be anything overwhelming. There's also the option to install a black water tank and just get that pumped out. That covers sewage. For water, there's a 200-gallon tank on the bow that John and Leslie used to fill from one of the spigots that was left on for the winter. Since Paula took over, we learned that water freezes at 32 degrees, and the pipes burst, so the water shut off from December to March. I would just either get a water delivery service if I wanted to render at that time, or I would just have those blocked on the counter as no-go zones. Finally, trash, I think we're looking at like a bag or 2 per tenant. Like whenever my wife and I stay for the weekend, it's not a lot of trash that we produce. And the slip fee includes the dumpsters. I know the ordinance is written to say each short-term rental must have a trash can provided by the town. Maybe I could pay for one and get that delivered on site. I don't know. Creative ways to make that work. But that's my philosophy on how we can address some of the issues that may come to the town's concern. The overall goal is just to provide an opportunity for people to experience something unique and see the town and be a participant in the food and beverage venue that you guys have worked so hard on. And if I may suggest, maybe call it street vending instead of food and beverage, that they do in Italy. So that's my quick pitch. I don't think I missed anything. I just hope, I'm hopeful that you guys can have an open mind to this and not just say no because it's never been done before. One thing I did do in my research is there's a company called Flow Home. The CEO of that company is not a personal friend, but an acquaintance of mine, and we've exchanged, we've had drinks before, or I've met him to see some of his properties, and they have floating homes in Baltimore, Annapolis, Harbor, Rudy Inlet of Virginia Beach. We have about 14 total across Chesapeake Bay region, and they operate, like if you go on their website, it's FLOHON, they're doing about $600 a night, 95% occupancy, like insane numbers because there's so much demand for people to be on the water and experience something unique like a floating home. Their houseboats are a little bit different. They build them in-house. They have flushable toilets in the black water tanks. That's one of the unique items that they have. But this concept isn't new or novel. It's just new to Cape Charles, I think. So it's been done and been enforced in many other regions successfully. It's just, there's a lot of nuances to it that have to be addressed in writing.
So how many people would you advertise if it were approved?
My wife and I are self-managing, or planning to self-manage. We'd obviously would have to have somebody to do maintenance and be on standby for any kind of problems, but we don't want it to be something that becomes excessive. Just the opportunity to share it with other people.
But it would sleep 4 or 6?
Oh,
or-
it's a 2-bed, 2.5, 2-bed, 2-bath, so it sleeps 4.
Okay.
So there's a queen in one bedroom and 2 twins in the other, basically a kid's room and a parent's room. But, yeah.
So how is that, I guess, Jeff or Katie, how does that line up
when I applied for the permit initially, all of the windows, bedrooms, doors are house size, house standard frame.
Well, we have square footage for the bedrooms and numbers of people.
It meets all those wickets. It's really the utilities that are the problem.
Well, what's the square footage of a bedroom that you have?
They're like 11 by 11, each one, with a little cutout for the HVAC in the corner. 900 square feet total with the downstairs included. So it's like a small apartment.
It's huge.
All right, so we're talking a bedroom for us is one person per 70 square foot, and the second person another 50 square foot.
No,
100.
100 total.
For two, it's 100.
Okay,
170, two, you get to jump to just 100.
just 100, okay?
And just, if, I don't know if you all know this, that was used as a rental house before, long-term.
Before,
Yep,
Just so you know that.
But a long-term rental,
Yeah, it's a rental,
yep.
still a rental.
so, right, and then it was also used as a full-time residence.
Full-time.
So
Mhm.
the utilities utilization was consistent over the course of the year. What did they do for trash, do you know?
John and Leslie,
I'm the
yeah,
food-
they walked it down to the dumpster or
Got
used the barrels that were along the pier there if it was something small.
Okay, so they didn't have pickup service? No.
I do want to keep in mind, the town does not oversee long-term rental property anywhere in town. You don't have to get a license for it, we don't oversee it in that fashion, so.
But,
I think it was more of just the point that was being made that someone was using it
to make money.
full-time, and it was working.
So, and our issue from the perspective of the water and sewer concerns of the poop, more than anything, is your guests coming in may not be as familiar with how to operate this. And you're gonna be turning those guests over every week.
Is
That
there
was a
special
big
sort of
concern.
knowledge necessary to use this, or is it just flushing and this machine, this sock maker does it
Not unless
itself?
there's
The
issues.
genie.
So there's a little panel that has a black button is flush, and it just runs water to rinse everything down, and then you just press the start button, and the start button activates the cycle.
So to
So-
cure all that, oh, sorry.
No, you go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, like you said, a black water could be installed, and then just two regular toilets are gonna be put in at that point.
And there's actually like the bilge is about 2 feet deep below the main floor. Like there's plenty of room in here just to put in pull up a couple pieces of plywood, put the black water tank in, cut out a piece of sheetrock, run a PVC pipe into the tank, and then make an outlet.
You got a mobile pump out? Yeah, that's gonna be an issue. Yeah.
To get it pumped out.
Yeah, mobile pump out, we don't have one. We used to.
Oh, we don't, she said, no, we don't have one?
No.
No,
Okay.
So that would make it tough to do that.
Yeah.
Used
So
to.
to speak from my world, the building code does not regulate booths. So I have no authority to go in and tell them, this meets egress, this meets bedroom size. Because what's the difference of a sailboat pulling up right beside him and saying, I want STR that? The bedrooms downstairs are one teeny tiny little lookout window, is all they got for egress. It's not even egress, right? So I have no authority to go in and say, this meets the building code, because the building code doesn't give me that.
What I recommended was,
But you know, they do that. I'm sure that some of those things get rented out in town.
what I
I'm sure.
recommended was the
Renting out boats.
Where?
in
Here?
our town?
I wouldn't be surprised they've done it here. I'm just saying.
Go ahead.
The vessel must be equipped with a U.S. Coast Guard approved marine sanitation device or waste disposal tank. And it shall be subject to short-term rental standards, safety inspections, and business licensing requirements. So essentially, all of the requirements for a house apply to the houseboat because it has the same size doors, the same size windows, the same egress.
Didn't you say it's classified actually as a home because it cannot be moved, because it doesn't have an
As
entry?
of right now.
As of right now, so long as he kept it that way, then it
Mhm.
can fall
No,
under.
ma'am.
Oh, tell me why, Jeff.
That's not considered a structure for the building code.
Because of foundation.
Yeah, foundation.
Got it,
So
okay.
the foundation in my case is a floating barge. The foundation of the house is a concrete permanent cinder block crawl space.
Okay.
So Jed, to your point though, with the sailboat, if it were to be approved, we could do a designation separation from as a motorized, not motorized, and also houseboat to a sailboat. I mean, and make that a different, yeah, make the distinction between the different ones, if we were to do that, correct?
We have to do more work to, if this is what the town wants to do, we would have to craft some new language in the
Right.
STR ordinance that's specific to a boat category, the types of boats, that we would say this is applicable, the locations of those, because this would then open us up not just at the harbor, or would you restrict it only to the harbor and eliminate, or say, no, it couldn't happen at.
Oyster
A marina.
Farm. Well, that would be up to
Or
them though,
personal
right?
docks, or any number of things, so.
But the town doesn't own
Yeah,
the
but-
oyster farm.
But it's a zoning.
We don't want any other
Still
property,
zoning.
yeah, but we are regulating it. We have the right to regulate where this occurs, yes.
I'm sympathetic to what you're trying to do. My concern is, we can't just say it's okay for you.
For you,
Because if it's okay for you, every slip in the harbor could be filled with a houseboat.
That's correct.
That's why I think the code needs to be specific, where it is essentially a home on a barge, so it meets all the home standards. It's full-size doors, full-size windows.
Right.
And no power.
Correct.
Well, motorized to
Well,
be able to move.
I'm sorry.
No
Yeah,
engine.
yeah.
Is there a fear or resistance, like, Paul, like, I mean, this happens everywhere, like, I've stayed on VRBOs and a lot of, 3 times in Fort Lauderdale and other places where that was the VRBO. I mean, there's a million of them listed online. Is it bad for business, so to speak? I mean, we have our residential issues where we worry about housing stock and displacement and balance. Is there a problem in marinas? Are you worried about that? If we opened it up, to Ken's point, we can't just say, for you, it works. We would need to look at it in a more broad spectrum and say, yeah, we're into this. We're into STRs on boats, kind of.
Do we want to take
So-
10 slips out of the,
That could be a problem. This right here, that I have in here, it's the opening it up. You know,
And-
there's all over it, you're not burning, nobody's burning fuel, but it's on leaving. But
Okay.
there's always slips and
But if it was only a houseboat, like structure,
I'm walking up and down docks and all the boats coming in, their yard is the water.
Yeah,
They make a wrong move and
yeah.
if you have them all over the place.
Could we limit it? So how many, I mean.
There's a
we talked
house-
about
there's a
tax,
house
we
in
put
the
tax on
Kings
it.
But then that
There's a house
opens
down
up a
Kings
whole
Canyon.
can of
I
worms
could do
again
it,
for the
no
rest
hard
of
for
it. I wouldn't want to put a limit.
Not to exceed.
William and Smitty and Beth lived
Or it has to
on
be
it for a long time,
real structure that
like a
applies
short-term
to-
rental, because they rented
And
theirs out.
blood would be in the water.
That we
Yeah.
have 25 of these in our marina versus transient.
It's really expensive to build a
Yeah.
houseboat. Yeah, I think
Right.
the economic constraint is what prevents that from happening.
Yeah, there's one in Kings Creek.
Andy just reminded me, there is one in Oyster Farm.
Nice place to park and take the
Yeah.
motor off.
There's already one in Oyster Farm, someone living in their boat. Well, they don't live there full time.
It's on the weekend.
They do stay
Mike,
there
I know
all
who
the
it
time.
is.
Yep. Well, and Smitty and Beth used to.
That's the
That
one. I know the
New owners.
Yeah, but that's no different than somebody living aboard a sport fisher. If they own the boat and they live on it, there's nothing that says they can't do that.
You're right.
It's like he lives on it and he comes over a week.
You're right, you're right.
I mean,
I don't problem.
I'm not opposed to the concept of exploring that, but I'm not saying I'm ready, I have all the information I need, I don't know. I know this much so far, but, like, I like the idea, I've had a blast when I've done it before, I think it's a fun thing to do.
You didn't fall off, did you?
I did not. And as far as the toilet in your particular instance, I think if you're renting your place and you can't figure out how to flush their toilet, they're gonna be tracking you down and saying, what's up, because this is not working.
Right.
It's a small
I can't
space.
flush the toilet down here in the back of the civic center, by the way. I don't know
Or in
how to
the-
do that.
And I would just have to say
on
now
our
too, with the
beachfront.
rules and everything we do have, if this were to somehow, we figure out how to get it approved, and I don't know if Katie's probably already talked to you about it, but it would have to be someone 24/7 in Cape Charles to take care of it for just that reason.
Or
Because you're not gonna be driving
proximity.
over from Newport News or,
Yeah, that bridge closes sometimes in the winter.
right.
In proximity, they wouldn't have to be in town. I mean,
You
within
know what I
reason.
mean,
know.
someone that can be, the 24-hour rule.
Yeah,
that's
But,
all.
but
Within
this is a
reason.
whole new thing from, the bulk of our STR ordinance. I'm not trying to fit it into that. I mean, I think it would take some careful, kind of like the food trucks, it's gonna kind of line by line, well, what happens when this happens and so forth, but I don't know.
So I guess I'm gonna ask, am I hearing a consensus from this board, you would like me to try and craft some ordinance that would allow houseboats to be an STR?
Yes,
Just to see it, yes.
yes. I'm a yes.
Yes.
I'm a no.
I'm seeing a no, I see a, I don't know what page
Yeah,
that is.
I'm looking at, from your point of view, pros and cons. Well, have we addressed all that we think
No,
it's, you know?
I don't. I think there's gonna be other things that come up, and I
Correct.
think that's, we need to
There
Ben
probably will
Franklin
be.
this and just put left and right, good and
Yeah.
bad.
And
But get started.
I'd be remiss in saying, yes, as a staff, Jeb, Paula, and myself, we all were not supportive of expanding the STR ordinance to accommodate houseboats. But we will do what you wish from policy standpoint.
I would just like to see the pros and cons side by
Yeah.
side, and if
Yeah,
there's.
don't write a whole policy, maybe just kind of give a pros and cons of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have some other ones to talk about. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chris.
There's our housing issue.
I know, that's what I,
There's yours.
pass that down, it'll keep looping it.
So number 2, which is on your page 44.
Speaking of bathrooms, I'm too.
The occupancy. So we've already had quite a bit of conversation about this internally as we've had to administer this. It started last summer as Jeb went out and was educating our public on this and each property owner on the occupancy and how this applies to their property. And now that we are here in the application and enforcement stage, so again, you wrote it to say there should be no more than 2 lodgers per bedroom plus 2, with the maximum number of overnight lodgers per dwelling being no greater than 10. Believe it or not, a lot of people actually interpret it as plus 2 per bedroom, and we continue to have that discussion in the field, putting it nicely. So we think one way that would address this is to read plus 2 in only 1 bedroom of a residence if it has met the bedroom definition, specifically regarding square footage for each occupant. We think the addition of that little red language would, I think, hopefully make it as crystal clear as we possibly can to what is meant by your occupancy numbers.
I agree with it.
Yeah.
I asked though, what about pull-out couches in the living room?
They're not, the living room is not a bedroom.
Right. Well, when you say plus 2, some people are coming down and 2 people are gonna sleep on the pull-out couch in the living room.
We're telling them they can't,
And
Why?
why?
because it's not a bedroom.
But
It's not intended for sleeping.
How,
Which is the next text amendment.
help me, how many of you have been to a rental property with people and there isn't a pull-out couch that people are sleeping on?
Right.
yeah, I mean, everyone.
If you tell me you've never
I
been to one of
think-
those,
People could sleep on that, but you can't count that as 2 more spots.
Correct.
Like, if you wanted to sleep on the couch, you could sleep on the couch. But you can't use it to add 2 more people.
I thought
In
though,
addition to the plus 2. So I understand what you're saying. They can sleep anywhere they want to sleep.
Yeah.
Ultimately, once they're there.
but I
But
thought
in
like
the count.
I'm sorry, I
Sorry.
interrupted you again.
It's okay.
You're good at
I
that.
thought the whole intent of everything, and I won't take authorship because I was attending, but not on the council yet, but everything that was done last year was done to limit occupancy in the homes, where there were no limits prior to that.
Yes.
And then we had conversations surrounding, what about bunk rooms that people have constructed where you could put 4 kids or whatever? And we were trying to max it out at 10 unless there were special circumstances, bedrooms or so forth.
Extra parking.
I don't know why we're in this place, I don't really care where you put those 2 extra people. And we're not gonna police who decides to sleep on the floor. I mean, you could sneak 2 extra people in any house and blow up an air mattress and get over on somebody or get over on the town. But I just don't understand why it makes a difference where they go.
But I
If
think
you-
also,
If you've got a bedroom that has the square footage from a fire safety and building code standpoint to accommodate 4 people being in it, so be it.
Let me
but-
separate this out, because I think we're commingling 2 different issues
that's
here,
what I was just about to
seriously.
say.
And so the first that we're trying to address, and that's why I put it in here first, is Jeb and Casey may go out and say, okay, you've got 4 bedrooms. We've qualified you for 4 bedrooms. That equates to 8 people, 2 per bedroom, let's say. And then with that, one of those is large enough, we give you a +2. The
Total of 10.
argument they're hearing from the property owner, but I got 4 bedrooms, I should get +2 per bedroom.
Because all the bedrooms are big enough to do the plus
That's-
twos.
That's correct. That, I do not think that was the intent of this board when
Yeah.
you put that
No,
+2
I don't think
language
that
in.
was anyone's
No.
intent.
You intended it of a +2 for the home, that's it.
Correct. So I would say,
Assuming
whatever
one of the
change you
bedrooms
need to make to
qualify.
make that clear for you
So that's
guys,
the first
we
thing.
agree on that, I
Am I
think.
And then-
correct in representing?
And then the only time that can differ is if they have like a 5th bedroom or something like that, then they have to come to you and get that, they have to have parking and so on and so forth, and then they can have
So
more
then
than 10.
let's jump to the third item, which, I think is where we started to head into. We have had property owners come to us at this point trying to get another space qualified as a bedroom. And that argument has been, I've got a pull-out sleeper sofa in my living room, that's a bedroom. It meets all the other requirements of the bedroom definition. It has the right square footage, it's got the ventilation, it's got the egress, etc. But it's the living room, that's its general purpose. But they're trying to convince the two of you, it's another bedroom.
It's not.
And we are saying it's not. The living room is a living room. It was called out on the house plans, you can see that. So we did want to propose one small tweak. This has nothing to do with if it's really a sleeper sofa or a queen size bed or a king size mattress or an air mattress. I don't think we are that deep in the weeds of it. We're just trying to say, that's a living room. You gotta call a spade a spade. That's what it is, that's the living room. And you can have that sleeper sofa, and when your family comes over, you can use that sleeper sofa. But if you're going to have this commercial enterprise occur in your property that we are allowing as an SDR, these are the rules you need to live by.
I just don't get the why to that
I don't either.
caveat. Like, I mean, every Hampton Inn has 2 queens, every room has that, and they have pull-out sofas, and I just don't understand why it's unsafe. I mean, our 3 bedrooms are upstairs. If we had a sleeper sofa on our main level, I mean, they could run right out the door if there was a fire. I don't understand why we're into that level of I don't want you guys to be put in a position to deal with what you're having to do with. Let me be
But you're now
clear.
saying, what I'm hearing from you, Clayton, is, okay, so there actually are 4 bedrooms. The living room is now a bedroom.
If it
So
has
that
a
means I've got
bathroom and
4
a
bedrooms I'm
egress.
qualifying equals 8 people plus 2 somehow.
No, and that's where I think what I'm trying to
No.
say. Is if you have a 3-bedroom home, and none of those qualify for the additional 2, so for 4 people, none of those 3 bedrooms will fit 4. You can have 6 in bedrooms plus 2 in the home, which would be the living room. That's how I look at it. Plus the 2 on the pull-out couch. That was the intent I thought when we sat up here.
No, we always talk.
Oh, no, I
Bunk
didn't interpret
bunk
it that way, but
bed.
I definitely understood it to be, that makes sense. But when we voted on this, I don't think that that's what they
We
were,
always talk bunk
they were
beds
presenting,
in the
right?
room, having 2.
Yeah.
Well, I think that may be true. I think that may be the focus of all
Yes.
those conversations, but I just don't understand
It doesn't
why
make
it's-
sense to me, I agree with you.
So does it come down to the furniture in the room?
That's a whole nother,
Yeah.
Because that's what it almost sounds like. You could have a room that has a sleeper sofa, that can function as a bedroom, it's got the bathroom, you don't crawl, all that stuff, but it doesn't have the bed, there's a pull-out bed, or a Murphy bed. So it could still function as a bedroom, that is its primary function, but it physically doesn't have the bed.
Still limited to 10 people, period.
No, I'm not talking about the
Yeah.
number. The numbers
Not
have nothing
not
to do
talking
with
about the
I don't
max.
care where they sleep. 10 people.
So
max.
are we saying it's the furniture that counts?
Do you guys want to weigh in, because you're in the field on this? I have my own thoughts of how to pitch this, and I know we've talked about this, the restaurant concept and seating is the example we need to give them.
The what, did you say the restaurant?
Yeah, Jeff's gonna do it.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say, furniture doesn't count. I mean, Casey was in a unit the other day that had a back, first floor room in the rear that had a pull-out sofa in it. No TVs, no nothing. Met all the criteria. So he actually said, look, you can treat this as a bedroom. You put a smoke detector up here, we can call it another bedroom. What we're talking about is your first room in your house, TVs, sofas, ping pong table, pool table. That's not something that is intended, was ever intended to be a bedroom. And that's the reason we're kind of adding this primarily in there.
Intended by who?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just a huge jump to go to that. That's the part I don't understand.
I've never allowed, even before this year, I've never allowed and never counted a living room as part of the occupancy for the number of people, ever.
I didn't know we had that.
But people just been using it.
Yeah.
We're not looking to go over 10, there's no one.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is
I'm
really
on the
only
same page.
talking about the 3-bedroom homes, really, is what we're talking about, to where they're trying to get to 8 people, where there's only 1 bed in the bedrooms, and they're trying to
You're
get to 8.
talking, well, there's some small 2-bedroom homes that are marketing for 6.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So we're not
everybody's
talking
trying to
about
go
our
up by 2.
4-bedroom homes, because they're bigger homes and everything else, bigger rooms. So it's really just the 2 and 3-bedroom homes, or maybe even the 1-bedroom homes, if there are.
Just
any.
trying to use their
And
living room.
Honestly, I don't have a problem with a 2-bedroom home being given the 6, because you've got two adults in each of the bedrooms and kids sleeping on a
So what are you gonna do with somebody who has a 5-bedroom home, wants to use their living room and adds 2 more people to their big house?
But
They
they have
can
to-
meet, but they can meet the parking, they can meet the trash, they can meet everything, so we're gonna give them 2 more as well?
So
I'm
they'd
not
have
counting
12.
it as a, that's the thing, is I'm not counting it as a
We
bedroom.
have to.
I'm
Nobody's gonna
saying-
require you to.
But that's why I'm saying the +2, if you just leave it as not being attached to a bedroom per se, then you're just saying 2 additional people and they can sleep on a pullout, on a blow-up mattress in the living room or whatever.
That's if they have one room that fills the criteria to have.
She's saying regardless.
She's saying
No,
regardless.
No,
She's saying regardless.
that's not what we intended to do. Never.
I
I don't wanna
I
ch-
realize that.
I don't wanna change that. We've already went through this thing. I think we just keep it where we have it. And
Okay, so that's a one person who doesn't want to change.
we're gonna keep, we're gonna keep changing
two.
this every time someone wants to jam more people in the house. The whole intent of this, hold on, the whole intent of this zoning, short-term rental was to reduce the number of people in the houses. But we gave them the ability, if the room was big enough, to add 2 people more in that particular bedroom. The reason the room is a defined sleeping area, regardless where they sleep in the entire house. If they are able to have 4 people in one room, and the other 2 get 2 and 2, that's 8. So, and me, I'd be out on the couch because I'd probably get kicked out of the room from snoring. So I'm gonna sleep on
anyway,
the
I'm just
couch,
gonna
it
throw
doesn't
out
matter.
there. This is fine, we can have all this discussion and talk about it, and change it or not change it
I'll
again.
change it.
How are we policing it anyway?
Why not?
We're not.
I wouldn't say that, we're not there yet. This is our first year of
Okay.
applying your ordinance.
All right,
So enforcement will start come April 16th.
I can see
Okay.
Casey now.
Is to visualize, how are you going to enforce it? When we start having complaints and stuff like that, and I'm walking into a house, right? What is it supposed to look like? What is my argument? What is my information that I'm supposed to approach these folks with? When we were here, there's 2 beds up there, there's 2 beds up there, there's a queen bed right there, and then every one of these couches pulled over. We know it's 4, we know that the occupancy is 8, but there's more beds, so we just called all of our friends to come over here. What's wrong with that?
But they can do
Well,
that.
then-
They can if it's not short-term rented. They can do that. If they own the home and they want to have their friends
So
over.
But
that's not the issue. We're
That's not
talking
what
about
we're talking
the
about.
commercial usage. We're not
Right, yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about the
No, well, in that
residential.
instance, you
Exactly.
discipline the STR owner.
Yes.
Right.
That could result in the loss of their license for the subsequent
Absolutely.
calendar
Yes.
year.
correct.
I mean, I don't have downright statistics, but it's a small number of people that I've had to reduce their occupancy. Had they had to move furniture from one bedroom to another to accommodate? Sure. Have they maybe had to take one bunk bed off of there was one room with 2 sets of bunk beds. Well, it only accommodated 3, so they had to pull off the top bunk of one of the bunk beds. So at the most, I'm reducing people by 1. Now, when you get over 10, that's a different story because of parking and all that. But we're really not talking about a lot of differences here.
Correct.
Most of the rooms in the house, if I find one room over 200 square feet, I guarantee most of them are not gonna have another one over 200. So they wouldn't even get 2 extra if we did it every bedroom in the house, right?
Right.
Our big problem is the whole living room, other room situations, day bed,
you've only had to lower a few, but you've had a lot of pushback of people trying to get more? Okay.
Of course,
Everyone, okay.
of course.
Have you had a lot over
Parking
10
system.
that have, but have met the parking need?
I would say the majority that we've done over 10 have met it. I think we've only denied one so far.
So that's
And
working.
I do, I still have, we've had like 3 more that have come in with an application to increase.
There are not that many of those.
No, we've had maybe a total of 5. One we had to deny because there was
Yeah,
nothing on the
4.
side or in the rear of the house. Most everybody else has been able to accommodate some type of parking in some sort of way. So there's really only just the one.
Here we're only talking about four houses.
What?
How many over 10?
Over 10?
Yeah, we don't have that many.
Probably 8 or 10. maybe.
Yeah, that's not that many.
I mean, we still have,
It's not until we get into Big Creek. and then,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different, but they have the parking for it.
Yeah.
No, they do. I mean, most of those places that are that big have parking, long
I'm
driveways.
not gonna argue Bay Creek tonight, 'cause-
No.
No,
Yeah.
no, we are not.
Yeah.
No, we are not.
sorry.
So right now,
So any-
if you have a bedroom that has like a bunk system where the lower mattress is a double bed and the upper is a twin, and that's a two-person
So
occupancy.
basically, I look at it the way a hotel looks at it, right? And you have, if most of the time you go in a hotel and you have a queen bed and you have a king bed, each one of those beds has sleeps 2 people, right? So your occupancy when you go in with 2 queens is 4 people right there. So typically what I say to people regarding sleeping spaces, if it was a twin, it was really just meant for one person. If it's a full, it's still kind of smallish, it's still really just kind of meant for one person. And then queens and kings are 2 people there.
We're being very realistic in going in here. We're not, I mean, we
I'm not
are
measuring beds.
working with these people as best we can. I mean,
Right.
trust me. We've had more conversations than we can shake a stick at, but we are helping people as much as we can.
Right, no, I'm
Oh,
not
for
saying
sure.
you're not.
We've always done that.
Yes.
I'm not
No.
saying you are, I'm just, like, we are helping them out as much.
So like what would I'm not gonna offer you 50 different scenarios, but like what if I do have a sleeper sofa in my living room?
Most people don't point that out.
Okay, and you're
And
not
I'm
looking,
not-
going-
and
I'm
I'm
not
not
going
looking up
to-
cushions.
We're not going to open it.
yeah.
So typically what I tell people is if I walk into the living room and it's an entertainment area, this is not a sleeping space. That's how this is not a bedroom, it's not a sleeping space. Well, what about pull-out couches? Well, if I come in the house and your occupancy permit is for 8 people and there's 8 people plus people sleeping in the living room and you're using it as a short-term rental at that time, it's been rented for a commercial use, then there will be consequences.
I thought the new software you had allowed you to see how many occupants they were advertising it for.
It does.
So that's really what happens, right? So you,
Correct.
that 2-bedroom scenario where, say, one of the bedrooms is big enough for 4 people and the other is 2, you can only advertise that for 6 occupants, even if you have a pull-out couch. Or in that same 2-bedroom, but one's not big enough for more than 2, you can only advertise it for
For
4,
4, yeah.
even if you have the sleeper sofa. So that's, I think that's where people are getting wound around the axle is, if I've got a 2-bedroom that can sleep 4 only, I should be able to get the +2 and get a sleeper sofa and make it 6.
Nobody has ever made that argument to me.
Will now.
I'm just saying, that
Okay,
is never,
so then now I'm having a hard time understanding why we need to add this in. Like, it's sounding like you're saying, actually, there's really not that many problems, so why are we needing,
there would be problems if we allowed that.
well, no, you're asking us to define and say only 2 in a bedroom. You're specifically asking us to say that.
Because that's what you all voted on.
Yes.
That is what was voted on.
Yep.
Correct.
And then
And we're,
But
and
you
we're
just said
asking
you
you
don't
to
have that many
define,
people
we're asking you to
saying
define
it.
a
You don't have
bedroom
that
as a
many
I don't
sleeping
have the
space.
argument that they want to use the +2 in the living room. I don't have that, and nobody argues with me about that fact.
Okay, so they want, what they're arguing is that they want +2 in each bedroom.
They
Yeah.
don't argue with me that either. They
Okay,
just
so-
argue with me because they want what they've always had.
Okay, so then I'm understand
We're
the
just trying to-
genesis of this conversation.
We're trying to
sir.
clarify, because you brought up last time that you were confused on what the +2 actually meant. So we're trying to clarify to make
And
it
it-
clear for everybody reading the ordinance.
And it says in here that there are no more than 2 lodgers per bedroom. So what's the definition of a bedroom? You have to further define what a bedroom is. And a bedroom is a place that is intended primarily for sleeping.
I know, I do.
She's trying to express it, the +2, only one bedroom, that's what Tara's
Right,
objecting
but
to.
it's still in a bedroom.
She's objecting to that being added to this, so that if they could qualify and meet that +2 in a sleeper sofa in the living room, why isn't that sufficient from our purposes of this ordinance?
Because it's gonna open a can of worms.
Yeah, that was never.
It's not what we intended.
I just want to clarify, at the beginning of the conversation, of this discussion, it sounded to me like you were saying that applicants, when you come to inspect, are asking for +2 in each bedroom. That's what
They
it sounded
found,
like.
they found the writing of this ordinance
To be confusing.
to be confusing, where it said +2, people were interpreting it and arguing with us, both in the
Yes.
field and in the office, to prevent it.
Two
Two
additional per
prevent it.
bedroom.
We're like,
Okay.
no, that's not what you intended. That's not how we're reading it nor applying.
All right, and that's not how I read it as it stands now. As it stands now, I read +2, that's it. 2 per bedroom +2,
And-
full
and-
stop.
And you're right, we do not have to change it. We're just making you aware of the experience we're having. A lot of time is spent trying to explain this ordinance to people. So there's a chance we can improve how people read this, so
Because
crystal clear what you intended. That's all we are trying to achieve.
So
But if
Tara-
it's gonna cause too much of a headache, we can leave it for this year.
Are you saying that if we took out, you would be looking for +2 in only one room that meets the square footage, something like that?
Oh, only one room and not the word bedroom?
Correct.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying?
No, not really what I like that.
Then just leave it as it's written. And we'll revisit this in the fall, once we have a full season under us. Okay, so I'm gonna say we're gonna pass number 2 as well. Pass number 1, you're gonna have me do more work on that. Number 2, I'm gonna hold, and we'll revisit this in the fall. Fall revisit.
Hey,
Okay, so then I
hey,
come down to
Casey
bedroom.
and Jeb, can you just keep track of how many you get kicked back on with this?
With what? The
So-
sleeper sofa?
With the confusion?
Pushback.
See, so we can keep, so we can have an idea of,
So,
If
I
we-
guess my question would be to you, what is a sleeping space? Like how many
I
people
get
want
that.
their living rooms
Yeah.
to be that? Or how many people are asking questions about what the ordinance means?
Yes.
yes.
both.
Because I can tell you every single day.
Everyone.
I spend time, we have a sheet, and I explain to them in writing, this is the number of bedrooms that you have, this is the square footage, 2, 2, 2, and then this bedroom has 150, or it has 200 square feet, so that's the one you can have 3 or 4 in. Well, why can't I have, you can have it in the other ones, but there's a lot of nuances to it, and there's a lot of confusion. So I do think that over time, some of that will go away, but because the language of it leaves something to, right, to interpret, more to interpretation than we would like.
Yeah, it's not +2, +2, +2, it's +2,
Right.
period.
So it's just, it becomes the source of a lot of arguments and a lot of education, and it could probably be better if it were just written a little bit more explicitly.
Well, +2 with the bedroom that qualifies to accommodate the +2. Because if it's 2, hold on, if it's 2 per room, and you have a 200 square foot room, hypothetically, that's the only room you could put the +2 extra people for that resident,
But
period.
what he's saying is that it's every single bedroom.
Not every, no, it's just
He's
one.
saying, no, let her finish. I got what
One.
she's saying. I
One.
know.
Thank you, Andy. I
It's just
understand
one.
it's just one, but what
That's what they're
we're
trying to
hearing
clarify.
from Casey is that when he goes, if every single bedroom meets the requirement for 4 people in it, they're asking for 4 people.
No, but they,
That's what, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they wanna be
Yes.
See, so that is what it is. So yes, our rule says
So it
2.
needs to be it needs to
That's
be a
what I'm
little bit more explicit.
That's what I'm saying.
So only one bedroom may be used
As a
as a
+2.
+2.
that's all you're asking, right?
Yes.
Put that in there.
Only one
That's
bedroom.
what it says, +2 and only one bedroom in the resident, if it has met the bedroom
And that's-
definition specifically regarding square footage for each
Okay,
occupant.
that's what you change it. Perfect.
Maybe if you switch it back to only one
I
plus
know.
two. Maybe if you put the only one before plus two. Only one plus two, whatever it's called, can be used. You know what I mean? That's, I think it's just as,
More than 2 people.
Correct.
right.
It's the square footage requirement.
The way it reads is not, I don't think as crystal clear as you want it to be.
Okay, so
Sweet
we
sheet.
will work on trying to make it clearer than this. Okay. So then I come down to number 3. So again, part of what we are trying to make clear is what is a bedroom? It sounds like maybe you don't want to take this up now. But with that said, we do think the fix is relatively easy, is in the definition in the very first sentence of bedroom. And this is in the definition section. Bedroom is a room or space within a structure intended primarily, is the word we're looking to add, for sleeping. Everything else would stay exactly the same in that definition.
Fine with me.
Yep, I'm okay with
Yep.
that too.
Because that would be, hopefully reduce the conversations you have about
Okay.
it.
So while I gotta win, I'm gonna keep moving forward. Number
Go
four.
right ahead. There you go.
You heard this when we were adopting the ordinance, when it was going through the public hearing process. There was some pushback on the refuse requirement, the number of trash cans that would be required based on your number of bedrooms. We've heard several of them tell us, oh, we hire somebody to do an additional pickup during the course of the week outside of the Tuesday trash pickup.
Good for you.
I had asked those property managers in particular during our rollout of this software and of the ordinance itself, saying, give me evidence of that. Give me some proof that you're doing this. I've not received that from any single one person. Just so you know that across the board. I have really no evidence that they really have hired somebody to do a secondary pickup. But
Should
I
have a
continue to
receipt.
get pushback, as we are working them through to get licensed and their applications into the software. We have done a lot of one-on-one meetings, especially with the property managers. And they continue to tell me they are doing this, and I've asked them each and every time they've been in my office,
Prove it.
give me a contract, show me who you've hired. I would bring that to you to revise the ordinance. So while I have not yet received that, I figure while I'm here talking to you about some other fixes, I would go ahead and try and craft you a fix.
Are they upset because, about getting the additional trash can because it costs them more money? to
Yeah.
get
It
another
does
trash
cost more.
can?
Well, they're
Okay, but
also,
they're-
because they're paying for, already paying for an additional service.
Service, right, so,
Whoa. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this just needs to be cut off. I don't care if they have another service, 2 cans, done. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, it's
some
not always 2
require
cans,
3.
some require 3,
That's
depending
fine.
on your number of bedrooms.
I mean, this shouldn't be a talking point here. I mean, if they get a big group in, especially those homes that have 3, I've seen people go out of there and those 3 cans are filled, overflowing. I don't care if they have an extra service. They're still not picking up the trash enough. If they need 3, they need 3. If they need 2, they need 2.
But if they need 3 and they're just using Davis, it's picked up once a week. Whereas this other service is picking up on Saturday and Sunday.
But they haven't proved it.
I realize that,
Yet
but,
none of them have come forward to show me proof that it's
right,
being
what
served
where I'm getting to is that it does help eliminate the problem of trash. Like, we have a big one next to us, and they have midweek, or mid-cycle
Right.
kind of pickup. And it's nice to have that removed rather than the overflow. And I think they have 2 cans. I don't know,
Probably not who she's running into.
right, I just think they should be required, before they get their license approved, they need to have that proof of,
and
service.
Right, and today, because we don't have this as a provision in the ordinance, maybe that's why they haven't given me evidence of this.
right.
But they've asked, and so I thought, while I'm bringing something to you, let me put this in. We can also kick this down the can, sorry to say can.
Kick the can down the road.
Kick it down a little bit to the fall. Let's get through the summer season and
See what you get.
if this really is a problem
Yeah.
or not.
So do they all still have to have 2 no matter what?
You have to have 1 as a minimum, then as you start to increase your number of bedrooms, so if you have a 1 or 2 bedroom occupancy, 1 or 2 bedrooms that they certify, 1 trash can. 3 to 4, 2 of them. 5 or more, 3 cans. That's what you're required to have.
It's fine with me. And then maybe
So-
if they can prove it later, then
So here's a way that they don't have to prove it. We could always just do it to where short-term rentals have to have 2 pickups and just make it mandatory with Davis and put all short-term rentals on the schedule.
Well,
To
except
pick
keep in
up
mind,
twice.
you are paying for Davis.
we'd have to pay for that. No.
This town pays your Tuesday's trash.
No, 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 no.
Oh.
I'm saying the short-term rentals, make it a Saturday and it's part of the fees that they put in, so it's 2 pickups just for short-term
But
rentals.
if I don't fill up my 2 trash cans, why should I have to pay for an additional pickup?
I'm just trying to think of
Yeah,
another.
but
Davis
you,
won't come here on Saturday.
No,
No.
no, it's the special company that comes in and picks up in a pickup truck.
Some people are telling me they're using their cleaners. Their cleaners are taking out the trash when they do the turnover services. Or yes, they've hired somebody who's also doing their landscaping.
It's in the
who will
contract.
come and do all the
Yeah,
trash.
there's some guy that has a pickup that does
Right,
trash
any
pickup.
number of ways we can handle this. So, again, I
I
just
agree.
put some language out there. We can hold this until we
Yeah,
have
let's
more
hold that.
evidence under
I
our
gotta
belt.
think about
Is this
that
really an issue of concern, or is this just a knee-jerk reaction of the requirement that we're gonna oversee the number of trash cans?
Because I think, you know, if we think back to some of our basic concerns, it's trash, parking, and noise. And so giving this the attention that it needs is important. So maybe kicking it to the fall is a good idea. I really do think that Saturday or Sunday pickup for those bigger places is important.
You
We
gotta
just have to
prove it.
figure out how to manage it.
Well, do you want to tie it to those 2 days? Don't you just want to say, do you have additional pickup? Why do
Right.
I have to say Saturday?
No, I
Sunday?
don't think it has to be Saturday or Sunday, but do you have additional?
Yeah,
If you're not
that's-
getting the amount of cans we want you to get, you've got to prove that you have
Yeah.
additional pickup.
provide,
Well, that's
Right.
what she suggested.
provide a contract,
Yeah,
Right.
right, yeah.
Do
proof
you
of,
wanna have to deal with that?
proof of service.
I don't wanna deal with trash cans whatsoever.
But
Right.
they can, if they have a proof of service when they sign up
Yeah.
for the thing, that's one thing.
Yeah.
And then, you
Is
know,
it just this spot?
when everybody's rolling through the thing and notice there's an awful lot of trash at the house all the time, they might
Then that would
have
then be a violation, and
Correct.
then say, okay, you told me you had this, you didn't maintain it.
Right.
You're now in violation, you're gonna lose your license.
Right.
When you come to the next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so put it on hold, this language for
And then you guys give us some data in the fall.
fall revisit, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm just shocked that you get pushback on it.
I know it.
No, it's-
For a can, I mean,
People,
I mean, we're talking,
That was good.
If it's affecting your overhead.
you know, we're jumping over dollars to save pennies, I mean,
They're obviously
honest.
paying somebody to pick up the trash.
They just need to
We want
prove
them
it.
to also pay, but I
Oh.
mean, we've kind of answered why they're probably not able to prove it. They probably don't have a contract with someone. It's a cleaning person who's coming in and
too bad then.
But they could write something up with that's not hard. They could just write something
get
up
a
and say
contract.
who that is.
I mean, it's even people who don't have contracts who are pushing us back.
Yeah.
Because they're about saying,
Because
what,
they're
30
having
bucks? How much
twice.
is it?
We're asking them now to pay
50,
twice.
what is
What
it,
is it a
15
month?
bucks,
I
16
don't even know,
bucks?
'cause it just goes out of my account.
It's 16 or 17
3
bucks
months, $63.
a can
Yeah, I was gonna say $63 for 3 months.
I mean, really.
for 3 months. It's like,
Okay.
much
so
money is there
we'll
making?
hold this to the fall, we'll revisit it then, I'll put it on my to-do list.
that's
for
one
that.
day
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
I
for
think I'm
one
done.
room.
All right.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Wait, I'm so sorry, but I actually wanted to ask about, something about the food really quickly. There was in one of these, attachments, there was something about special events, and it listed 2 special events, and it had Sale Fest on there, and that vendors should apply, it had a link.
Link
where
to
they
it,
should
yeah.
apply To be a vendor for Sale Fest, but that's actually not for food vendor. That's not the link for food vendors, is what I'm saying.
That's
That-
all I found when I went into your sales
I
fest.
know, because we actually, I did it, I reached out to food vendors who were already licensed in Cape Charles directly. I've already, those are for vendors for, merchandise.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
Retail.
So I just wanna take that off, I don't know if that's getting published somewhere or
There it
something
is.
that,
This is being handed out as we are getting more peddlers and food vendors licensed every day in our office. I don't know how many we up to now, Jack? That I've signed off?
can you just put a Sale Fest,
Email.
email on there instead of please, just
Then
because
shoot
that,
that, then you shoot that to me,
I
and then
will.
we'll get this corrected over to the finance office, because they hand this out to everybody who's getting a peddlers or food vendors license.
And Katie, are the events that are listed there just things that have registered so far, or how did they come about? Because there's
Say that again?
are the events that are listed there, are they,
Just events we happen to be familiar with. 'Cause
Okay.
Because that's the next call we get, is they call back into the office.
Right.
We wanna be a vendor for the Krabby Blues Festival.
Sure.
It's not through us. Call these people. And
Okay.
so as I know of it, if it's a fixed event already
Okay.
approved somehow, we're trying to get them to the right contact. so
Okay.
they stop calling.
because we have another one that's happening the week before Sailfest that's in the same field where Chamberfest is gonna be. So I just want you to have that, the Bluegrass Festival.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's why I was asking, is there a way, and I have no idea if they've
That's the one advertising.
talked to
that
the town
small
yet or
steel.
not.
I mean,
Pam knows
Pam is
those.
aware of it.
So Pam has that
They got
info.
banners, small steel,
Yeah, can
thinking
you hear us?
bluegrass is gonna be there in the
Pam.
septic field.
No, I can't hear you. I can hear some stuff, and
I was talking about the Bluegrass Festival, listing that on this sheet and the contact person, if somebody wants to be a vendor.
The Bluegrass
Bluegrass Festival, that's the week before Sailfest.
Right?
We,
Adding it to the events list.
She doesn't do this thing, but if she's got the contact info, I'll get it from Pam, I'll
Yeah.
add it to the sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
I was not aware of that as an event.
okay, I was just that's why I was
I also didn't
asking.
even know where it was being held. I've seen the signs. There's one-
It's very confusing, the
there's
one
a
that's at
sign down on my
that
street. I
Saul.
thought it was somewhere
Yeah.
down Cherry Stone Campground, they're doing the Blue Crab
Yeah.
Festival.
No, that was
No
small,
idea.
it was at Smalls.
It's Smalls is very confusing, because it's acts like it's gonna be at Smalls.
Hey,
All
no,
right, guys, let's get this wrapped up.
I thought we said no cryouts.
If you said call out, I'd know what you meant.
I don't know if the farmer's market thing that Dutton's do, that may be a thing for that list as well.
Sure, but again, a lot of this is not gonna be handed out forever. It's getting handed out right now, because you gotta get your applications in and licenses by April 15th. So we put this together in January just to kind of make you aware of the regs currently and start saying, if you wanna purchase these, this is who you call. Don't call us. That's the biggest thing we're trying to stop the number of calls into the treasurer's office
Sure.
and into my
Yeah,
office.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if you put on there, if you're interested in the farmer's market, contact the museum.
Who
Since
at the
that,
museum? What at the museum?
I mean,
Andy Dutton.
With a phone number and an email?
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that info. Okay.
It's Amanda Dutton.
Okay.
It's a Dutton.
Yeah, it's a Dutton.
All right, what else do we have this evening? Nothing?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.